issues as a kid.
I bet,
You're a little
man.
kid, you're too shy to correct your teacher, right?
Of course.
I went through whole school years like that.
What's up, everybody? We are live. Welcome to the Eddy Live Show. I'm here with my man Jim Mehren.
Eddie, how are you, man?
Nice to see you.
Yeah, good to see you.
One of these too.
Yeah,
one
okay.
of these.
I'll give you one of those.
It's been a while, man. It's nice to see you. But you were saying moved out to Xindian.
Yeah, I've been living out in Xindian now for about 18 years.
That's wow.
We found a house up in the mountains there, and it was nice. And they were building a new school out there. Kangchao School was opening up. Actually, the same year that we moved out there.
Okay.
So nice. It's nice. You know, it's like suburban lifestyle, right? Yard.
Sure. Yeah, I mean,
dogs and all this stuff, right?
How is it though? I mean, everybody always says they want to have their front yard in the backyard, but then when they get it, they're like, I got to cut the grass and stuff. Right. So is it true?
Yeah.
Is it true or what?
You know, it's a bit of work, and a house has got the screen doors and the sliding glass doors, and they got everything you got to repair. And yeah, there's a lot of that. But anyway, it's worth it, right?
But it's nice. It's nice to like we recently just moved to a little 3-bedroom apartment. I mean, it's bigger than what we had because for us, when we started this business, we basically just buckled down and we lived in like shoebox places. Just everything nice went into the restaurant. Like the first restaurant we had, the TV, all the everything's in the restaurant. Like the nice couch. And so like our house was pretty bad for a while. And about I would say 2-3 months ago, we moved into a place that's 3 bedrooms, about 48 ping, and it's nice. And it's like I've been promising that to my wife for
that's good.
Longer
it's
than
right?
longer.
You finish a long day at work, right?
Yeah,
You want someone
you
to
get
relax,
home.
Right?
Yeah, so you go home and it's nice, and you feel okay.
Yeah.
I did the right thing.
Yeah.
You know, it took a little longer to get there than we thought, but we're there. So
so that's in Xindian. I really like it out there because again, it's out in the countryside a bit, and we have a yard and. I like to cook, and so we grow herbs. We grow our own herb garden and that kind of thing. So it's good. It's good for the kids too.
Okay.
Right? Yeah, kids enjoy it.
I think it's good for the kids with the space, right?
Yeah, they've got a bit of space. Yeah. Like my son plays baseball. We play catch out in the yard.
That's amazing.
That's kind of nice.
Oh, man.
Right? Yeah.
You can't really replace that. You know, like here, like we live like in Tianmu, and my daughter. I mean, she does like some sports and stuff, but. It's hard. You can't really do that much, you know. But you know, we got some good parks in Tianmu, so it's all right. It's all right. Yeah.
Yeah, it's good. Tianmu's nice.
It's been amazing to us. So you know, we can't complain. We started in Danshui, but now we're here, and oh man, it's great. My daughter goes to local school here. I mean, she likes it. I mean, as much as kids couldn't like school, right? You know, sometimes she's like, I don't want to go today. I don't want to go today. But it's like, kind of got to. So yeah. So originally, what brought you here? All those years ago?
Geez, coming to Taiwan about years ago. I came 38 years ago.
38 years ago.
Yeah, wow. You know, back in those days, the early 80s to the sort of end of the 80s, right?
Okay.
It was very much Taiwan's time of export, right? The economy here was almost 100% based on export, right?
Sure.
Or support of the export. Shipping,
yeah.
Hotels, you know, only were catering to the international business people, right, who came through.
Yeah.
So back in those days, everyone was involved in some aspect of exporting. I was with a trading company. Did that for a number of years. Had my own company for about 10 years.
Okay.
And then there an American I knew that I'd met in the beginning of the 90s, 91, I probably met him. He was starting a sports marketing company in Taiwan.
Okay.
And he was affiliated with a regional group out of Hong Kong.
Okay.
And they were a couple of ex-professional tennis players. And what they did then was because there weren't that many professional international sporting events around Asia back at that time.
Sure.
So what they did is, because they were pro tennis players, they got the rights from the ATP Men's Tennis Tour, WTA Women's Tennis Tour to start doing the Hong Kong Open, Taiwan Open, a number of other international ranking tennis events.
Beautiful.
Right?
Yeah.
So the guy who was setting up the Taiwan operation needed people, and I'd had a bit of a sports background before that, volunteering at golf tournaments and things like that. So I just sort of started working along with him, mostly assisting in getting sponsors for the events and management and all of that. So that was like 1992. So since then, or beginning at that time, I was working in the professional sports industry. Okay. So it was sports management, right? Okay. We were managing Taiwan's men's and women's tennis opens. Professional golf events, volleyball, table tennis. We worked with the Pro Baseball League for a number of years here in Taiwan. And then I joined in mid-90s, I joined IMG.
Okay.
International Management Group, the world's largest sports management company.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah, I've heard of it. I've actually heard of it.
They're quite well known.
Yeah, I've heard of it. Yeah.
Yeah, they've been sold a couple times now. They're part of William Morris now.
Okay.
But originally they were an independent company.
Okay.
Started by Mark McCormack back in the 60s.
Okay.
They were the agents for Tiger Woods, Andre Agassi, Pete Sampras. They represented probably more than 1,000 professional athletes.
Oh, wow.
But also we produced sports TV. Licensing.
Okay. Wow. Jeez. Okay, that's quite a bit.
Yeah, so quite a few different things that we did together. Now we weren't out here representing or assisting the athletes to get deals with Nike or whatever it might be. But what we were doing is mostly were events.
Okay.
So we would put on Taiwan golf tournaments, the tennis tournaments, and others, and then of course try to bring out some of the IMG athletes.
It's quite a bit of planning to get something like that set up, I guess,
they take a year and a half of planning usually to do something like that.
Okay.
So we did that for a number of years.
Beautiful.
Yeah, that kind of thing. So that's how I got into what I'm doing now, is with a background in pro sports.
Okay.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Yeah. And that's, you still retain all the connections from back in the day, right?
So that's what kind of happened, because through all these connections that we had through all the sports bodies and people that we worked together with, I had quite a few connections in the professional sports world, or just in the sports world in general.
Yeah, that's great. Okay.
And as I mentioned to you, right, I have a son who plays baseball in Taiwan.
You're saying your son is 17?
Yeah.
17?
Yeah.
Okay.
Chris is 17. There's a picture of him. Yeah, there he is.
Boom, there he is. Yeah.
That's Chris in junior high school.
Okay.
And
got a couple more.
Now this is high school now.
High school.
He plays at Shofeng High School in Shizi.
Shizi. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's a senior there now. But maybe 3 years or so ago, when he was, and he's been full time in the Taiwan baseball program since he was in 5th grade.
So it's 5th grade would be 10?
Yeah, about 10.
10?
Yeah,
okay.
About 10 years old. He started playing year-round baseball in Taiwan at the school level. So Taiwan's a little different, right? In America, they have a little league system that most kids play in. That's how they start, right? And Taiwan really doesn't have the little league.
It's like a grassroots
format.
right back home where everyone signs up, they play for fun.
Yeah, all the kids play.
Everyone plays.
It's for
they
fun.
Play.
And if you move on, then you could play the junior high team, the high school team.
Yeah.
But that's only part-time, right?
Yeah.
Even let's say you play high school baseball in America, you still just kind of play during the season.
Yeah.
As soon as the season's end, you might go to another sport, or there's nothing else to play.
Yeah, there was
originally.
Winter would be hockey in Canada.
Yeah.
And summer would be soccer. Yeah.
So, but in Taiwan for baseball, and the reason Taiwan's so good in baseball are these kinds of programs like that my son's in.
Yeah.
They play year round. So, and they go to special schools that have programs, full-time coaches. I mean, his junior high school and even elementary school, they got like 5 coaches on the team.
Jeez, yeah.
And they practice every single day.
I've heard about a lot of these schools. I remember when I was coaching soccer. There's also soccer ones, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So different schools have different sports. Like Shofeng and Shizi that he goes to. I think they've got track and field, maybe a basketball team and a baseball team. I think it's like 3 teams that they have, right?
Okay.
And that's all. And everyone else is just a regular student.
Okay.
So the kids who play the sport, then, of course, they do it every day.
Yeah.
And they still go to school, but they only go to school with their teammates.
Okay, that's got to be really good for gelling a team, I would imagine.
Yeah, it's good for the team, and that's why, especially in baseball, Taiwan has been so good. Even when I was a kid in the States playing Little League Baseball, Taiwan used to come over and win the Little League World Series in America.
I remember they've recently they've done it, right? I mean, I've been here for 18 years, but I remember them being there. They're still there, right?
When I was a kid, they used to win. They were dominating the Little League World Series. And we were little kids. We probably didn't even know where Taiwan was when we were 10, 11, and 12.
Sure, of course.
We always heard about these Taiwan kids coming over, and we could never understand how these little kids from Taiwan.
So
but now you can see and you understand and you know why, right? They practice so much, and they're very, very good players.
So how would a kid get into a school like that? Are they recruited into a school like that? Or like, let's say I want my daughter to play baseball. Do I have to look for a baseball school, or how does it work out? Like, how did your son get into that?
Yeah, he wasn't actually recruited, but he played for a year before that because I wanted him to play sports and he wanted to try. So he joined a church team.
Okay.
There was a baseball team that organized by a church. And it was like like Little League was for us, is just, 1 day of practice a week, you play a game on a weekend, that kind of thing.
Agree.
And the coach there said that he was doing well and recommended that he should go to an elementary school program.
No way. Okay.
And so he recommended him over. I don't recall any kind of tryout or qualifications needed. But then they do as they move up. So from elementary school, then you join a junior high school team. And they will actively go out and look for good players.
Okay.
Now,
so there's some kind of scouting
high
system,
school, they do start actually recruiting at the high school level in Taiwan. Okay. And there are a few teams here that are very aggressive in going after the best players.
Okay.
And there's a couple of teams here in Taipei. In fact, my son's team lost in the championship in a tournament in Tainan last weekend to Taiwan's #1 team called Gubao.
Okay.
And
wow.
they are like mercenary about going out and recruiting Taiwan's best players.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's competitive at that level.
I think baseball is one of the sports, like we were saying, Taiwan is good at, right?
Yeah.
For the kids and stuff. And I think it seems like, I don't know if it's the government or whoever, there's support for baseball, right? So so people like baseball. I mean, baseball stadiums all over. So I think that's the national sport, I would guess. Higher than basketball, because baseball, basketball are big.
It's interesting. Baseball is the sport that Taiwan's been best at for decades. It has the longest history. Some of it related to Japan, where baseball's been big for 100 years or more. And Taiwan's very good, as we all know, right? There's professional players every year in Major League Baseball, right?
That's right,
And numerous players at the minor leagues of professional baseball teams.
I did not know that.
Right?
Okay.
So there are quite a number of Taiwan players that have gone on to Major League, right? And just as they've been from Korea and Japan. So Taiwan's produced really good baseball talent for decades, right?
Okay.
And that's the sport they're best at, best developed, best history and everything. But not as many people play baseball as play basketball. Basketball is actually the most popular sport.
Sure.
So if you talk to Nike and Adidas and these other people,
it's all about basketball because the masses.
Pretty much.
Okay.
They're really focusing. Of course, the culture, the appeal of the NBA.
NBA's
the fashion and the shoes and all this stuff.
Basketball.
It's a fully integrated.
Even me as a kid that didn't play basketball, I would still go buy basketball shoes, Jordans and stuff.
Pair of Jordans. My son who's a baseball player. He wants a pair. He bought originally a pair of Jordans.
Pair of Jordans. That's beautiful.
Exactly, because that's what his friends are wearing. Exactly. Everyone's into that kind of thing.
I can't believe that's still Jordans are still amazing shoes. Still, like I was a kid. And I was like, I want to get a pair of Jordans, and it's pretty awesome. Let's grab the first wing, man.
Okay, so we're on to
the first one, round one. It's pretty mellow. That's just basic buffalo wing. Okay. So what we do is we start from here. We go this way. Okay. You can take the drum or the wing. It's all whatever you want.
Yeah, I'm good with either one.
So just grab whatever you like. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So this is just the basic buffalo.
Okay.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Salute.
Yeah. There you go. Cheers.
Enjoy. Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
It's all right. Yeah, it's just the basic buffalo rice. Not too spicy, right?
Oh, it's really good.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, we try. I mean, we really care about the food, so
Yeah, very good. No spice.
Yes, exactly.
Haven't been challenged yet.
No, not yet. Yeah. Take our time,
Okay.
We let you feel like, this is going to be nothing, and then we pull the rug out, right?
Yeah, I'm going to get a shock here sooner or later.
So what would you say would be your personal background in sports?
Well, back from the early 90s and doing managing professional sports. That's where it started for me.
Okay.
Mostly in event management.
Okay.
But TV production, we were quite involved in, because every event that we would do, the value to the sponsors was a lot of it was in the TV production, distribution, right? Mm-hmm. So we got involved in various aspects of the production aspect, the distribution aspect.
Yep.
But it was primarily the event management side that we focused on, and the sponsors. So working with all the corporate sponsors. And traditionally here for Taiwan, a lot of that was the multinationals. So we worked with, Mercedes-Benz and Citibank and HSBC and Nike and Rolex and all these different companies.
So what's the process of finding a sponsor? Like, how does that work? Because everybody, they have a team or they have a club or they have an association, and everyone seems to struggle at finding sponsors.
Yeah, it's tough.
So what's kind of do you have any tips, or what are what's the criteria of finding? I mean, you can't just not be like, hey, Benz, I got a soccer team, so give me money.
Yeah.
It doesn't work like that, obviously.
It's all about delivering value to the brand.
Okay.
Okay, then that's like a simple statement.
Sure.
But that can be broken down into various elements.
Okay.
Advertising exposure. Now, of course, social media.
Social media is huge.
Customer interaction.
Yeah.
There's so many things you need to provide to them.
Okay.
And unfortunately, at the smaller level, let's say you just have a team. You have a soccer team. Youth soccer team.
Yeah, youth soccer.
Frankly speaking, there probably isn't going to be a lot of huge value for brand exposure.
Like Benz or Costco.
Nike, Mercedes,
whatever.
exactly, for that kind of company. But when you're doing an international sporting event, you've got Tiger Woods coming for a golf tournament in Taiwan, which he did. He came in '99.
Yeah.
And you're going to broadcast that to 100 million people. And you're going to invite your customers out to play golf with Tiger Woods and get his autograph.
Okay,
and,
sure.
all of a sudden you start integrating 15, 20 different benefits for the brand.
Okay.
All of a sudden the value of the sponsorship can go quite high.
Okay. That makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. So
this seems like a tough nut to crack for most people. Yeah.
Yeah. So at the smaller level, smaller scale, let's say, for small programs or activities or events, it's a challenge for sure. Definitely. But Taiwan right now is even harder than it was years ago to do that.
Oh, really? Why would you think that?
Well, what happened was, up until sometime around the end of the 90s, early 2000s, when China hadn't fully opened, China hadn't developed to the point where it is now.
Sure.
For Mercedes or one of these other brands, Citibank, for example, let's say, they would spend money in the Taiwan market to promote their brand, develop the customers.
Sure.
They might want to sign up more credit card customers, so they might want to do something related to a sports activity to help sign up clients and all. But now they've already kind of saturated the Taiwan market. China opens up. Now you've got a market.
So many people.
So many people there. You could spend the budget you'd spend on a Taiwan event in a small second or third tier city in China and never even reach 95% of the other population. So what happened was a lot of the funds for those activities dried up as China opened up. The money really got sucked
28
away.
million as opposed to like what billion, 1 point something.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, you can go to any second or third tier city; they're bigger than Taipei alone, right? So that really hurt Taiwan a lot. In fact, if you look now compared to what we did back in the 90s, major international golf tournaments, tennis tournaments, and other events here, there's almost nothing in Taiwan.
Yeah, I know.
Right?
That's
very little now.
Yeah, it's a bit of a bummer,
It's a real bummer.
It's a real bummer, yeah.
That kind of killed the business that I was in.
Sure.
From the early days, from, again, 92 when I started in the business. We were doing at that time 7 or 8 international sporting events in Taiwan per year.
Okay.
We had the rights to Michael Chang, back after he won the French Open in '89.
Okay, wow.
He's obviously his family's from Taiwan, so he's a major superstar out here.
Yeah.
We used to bring him to Taiwan for a tennis exhibition event match every year.
Really?
Yeah. That was even back in the days when the tobacco companies sponsored. It was sponsored by Salem.
The good old days.
Yeah, the good old days. The tobacco companies, they had so much money.
For sure they did.
That dried up about mid-90s, 95, 96, around that time. Tobacco was banned
because
pretty much everywhere.
Yeah.
But
kids playing tennis, hey, have a cigarette while you're waiting, kids.
Yeah,
of course.
That's the business, though, right?
Of course.
Look at F1, right? F1, it was a long time before they kicked out the tobacco companies from F1, right? Because there was so much money.
That's the problem. When there's so much money, it's hard to say no, right? Especially when there's not really something to replace it with. You're like, hey, we got like this chunk. We take that out, but you got to hustle to try to get that back, or we can't get it back, or whatever, right?
Exactly. You can't replace. It isn't like you can go to a Coca-Cola or one of the other companies. You would think, oh, they're big, they've got a lot of money too. But tobacco was in a special situation because they not only made huge money, they were banned from doing TV advertising. For most print advertising in most countries, right? They couldn't do traditional advertising. So sponsorship was one of the last things they could do. So they not only had
put everything into
huge amounts of money, but that was the only avenue left over. Major sort of promotional platform.
That makes sense. Yeah. The golden era, I guess, for them.
Yeah, it really was, right? So, that's all gone from Taiwan now. So I can definitely feel for a lot of the organizations here.
Yeah.
We still get companies that come to us and want to talk about raising money or trying to find sponsors. And I'd done that for so many years, and it's very tough in Taiwan right now.
Yeah. Well, one of the reasons I started this small little sort of talk show podcasting was because it's hard to get the word out sometimes. There's things out there that you see cool people doing cool things, and it's hard to get the word out. And I said, well, you know what? Maybe if we can help a little bit, let's do it. So that's cool. What we started.
Yeah, appreciate it. That's great.
Started this.
No, it's good to have you.
Thanks for coming.
Supporting the cause. Right?
Yeah, we love it, right? I mean, Taiwan's been amazing to me. I think it's a great place. We just need a little boost here and there, and I think.
But the good thing on the sports side, even though it's changed on the professional side, we now, as I'm doing now with Athletic Consultants Asia, we've transitioned to the amateur side, right? With collegiate athletes, right?
Sure,
The good thing about Taiwan is years ago when we were working at the professional level, the amateur level, let's say down at the school level, wasn't as well developed as it is now.
Okay.
So for what we're doing now, it makes sense where it wouldn't have made much sense, let's say 20 years ago.
Okay, sure.
Because they're now with groups like Master Football Academy.
For sure.
There's a lot of basketball training groups in Taiwan and others.
Quite a few, yeah.
There's a lot of kids that learn a sport now from a very young age. 20, 30 years ago, the parents didn't let them play sports.
I have a little story. I coached here. So I've been coaching since I was maybe 12 or 13. I volunteered coaching little kids. And then I came here, I was coaching. And I remember the first team of kids that I had. I was in Banqiao my first year here. And there was these twins, right? A boy and a girl. Good kids. They come out to the practice every Saturday. And I had my own little team together. And the boy, he was pretty decent. He was average, but the girl was a killer. The girl was a killer. She was just aggressive, strong, fast, just head and shoulders above everybody else, including her twin brother. And so a couple months goes by. One day she shows up in sandals. And I mean, he's got all his gear on. She's got sandals. She's just, got like a little windmill in her hand, and he's got all his gear. I'm like, what's going on? She's like, I can't play soccer anymore, the girl says. I'm like, what? Why not? She said, my parents they said I'm getting too dark. So I lost. I mean, that was 18 years ago, right? So I lost potentially like this amazing athlete, to that. I mean, that's a long time ago. That's some old school thinking, but it was for me. But
like that's still quite common,
It's still common now,
that kids, like when my children were growing up, my kids are 17 and 19 now.
Okay.
And I was kind of surprised after being here for over 30 years that when my kids were young, 5, 6, 7, and we started getting them into soccer programs with Michael and those guys from Master Football,
great
actually.
People, great guys.
Great guys, right?
Yeah.
And they taught my kids from when they were very young.
Amazing.
But there were so many different programs I was surprised to see. Like even my kids were learning inline skating at one time.
Yeah, I've seen those around.
My wife had found a group, some coaches and teachers, and they had a whole bunch of little kids that were inline skating. So all these little baseball groups, soccer groups, inline skating, I don't think that stuff existed, 30 some years ago. So there are more and more kids that are in sports programs when they're young. The problem is quite a number of them get pulled out when they kind of reach the junior high school age.
Oh God, yeah, I have
right?
That.
Because then, of course, the parents want them to concentrate on study.
The best team that I ever coached here, they're probably like 24 now, but I had them from grade 1 to 6. Mm-hmm. And I had like visions of I'm going to be talking to like college recruiters. You know what I mean? Because I'm like,
you saw
I
talent,
love these
right?
kids. I love these kids, and they were great. Mm-hmm. And I mean, it was just, that was one of the reasons I came here. I'm like, this is a dream for me. I want to do it. But, grade 1 all the way to grade 6, and we're peaking, and we're really good, winning tournaments, good stuff. This was my own brand before, I started working with MFA. At the end of grade 6, it was like, all right, thank you very much. We're all quitting, and we're going to science class together, and I was like, I was 20, maybe 24, 25 or something. I was shocked. I was actually crushed because I couldn't believe it. I mean, I'd only been here for a few years, but that was pretty crushing. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that was and still is.
That's tough.
Very common in Taiwan, right? That the kids don't continue on. Yeah. The problem is unlike
when you're missing junior high, that's a critical time.
Yeah, they have to study, and again, it's very competitive for the best colleges. So that's very competitive. The parents want their kids to study and spend their time doing that. Yeah, and there aren't the opportunities at the high school level like we have, let's say, in the United States,
Sure.
where the school is good, highly ranked academically, and has a good baseball team or football team, or you can do both. You can be a student athlete.
Student athlete, yeah.
Right. That's a very American model.
Yeah.
And other countries too.
Sure,
but
sure.
For what we do in business and placing kids into American universities, the American high school student athlete model obviously produces a lot of good student athletes to go on to colleges. And Taiwan's missing that at the high school level.
I think when I was talking to the parents, and one of the things that they were telling me was like, he's not going to make any money playing soccer in Taiwan, and that's what they told me.
Yes, that's
and I was like,
yeah.
Oh, I don't. What do I say to that? I'm like,
Right.
They're like, he's got to do something academic because he's not going to make any money playing soccer in Taiwan.
And that's
So it
very
was
much
kind
in
of-
the baseball world.
Yeah?
It's the same
Okay.
situation.
Really?
What
Okay.
happens is you have a
actually-
lot
at
of
least, yeah.
really good baseball players. This is partly how we started the business we're doing.
Okay.
Because again, my son's in the baseball system.
Yep.
I can see the level of talent,
Yep.
and I knew how good the baseball players were
Sure.
here. There were about, I don't know now, 6 or 7 Major League Baseball pro team scouts that live in Taiwan.
Okay.
The
Really? I didn't know
Oakland
that.
A's, the
Really?
Kansas City Royals.
That's cool. Wow.
Yeah,
That's
Reds.
a cool gig. Wow.
Yeah, so they live here full time, right?
Okay.
And they scout. Either they scout just locally or they scout regionally to Japan and Korea.
Okay.
But so I talked to a bunch of those guys because again, these are people I knew from the pro sports
Sure,
world
of
and things
course.
like
It's
that.
Good connections. Yeah.
And I asked them a simple question when I was thinking about the college angle for my son and
Sure,
for
sure, of
other
course, of
potential
course, of course,
kids.
yeah.
I said, forget about professional baseball. You're only here to find the 1 or the 2 or the 3 really superstar kids to go on and play Major League Baseball.
Yeah.
How many of the kids that are in the baseball system here could play collegiate baseball in America? And they pretty much all said the same thing. 90% of the kids have the
Really?
talent to play at some level of collegiate baseball in America.
I thought you were going to say nobody. That 90%.
No.
Holy crap.
Again,
That's-
for all sports,
that's incredible.
For every
Wow.
one NBA player, you probably have 1,000 collegiate basketball
Sure,
players,
sure,
right?
sure.
So that's always going to be the percentages, right? So Taiwan's got a huge number of really good baseball players who could use the talent to go to American college, play, study, graduate. If they're good enough, they get better and they go on to pro. That's great. But if they don't, they have a
Come
college
back.
education.
Yeah.
They've learned to speak English. Right. And they can pursue a career. Whereas the kids in Taiwan, mostly who are in the baseball system, don't go on to pro, don't make money at playing baseball. They probably coach or they have some, they say, less than appealing kind of job at a very low salary. So our work with the Taiwan baseball players is trying to get some of those kids to go off to college.
That's great.
And use the talent to get in, because American colleges not only give preferential entry or admission treatment to athletes, they also have scholarships available.
What about being international? Do they get any kind of like bonuses or anything, like kind of preference, or is it sort of in the U.S. system? Is it preference gone to the locals, to Americans, or is it just on talent? Or?
There really isn't a preferential system.
Okay, it's just
but
like
what
who's
happens
better.
if you're an athlete and the coach of the team at your college is interested to have you there and wants you to go there, he can speak to the admissions department, admissions committee, and the requirements for admission to the university will lower a bit too significantly. So they can help you get admitted to the university. So in that instance, and it doesn't matter if you're from Sweden, you're from Taiwan, or you're from the United States. If you're a good baseball player, basketball, tennis, or whatever,
slot, the best goes in.
So that's the good thing about the American
good,
collegiate sports system is the coach is looking for the best talent he can find.
Because they win, when they have better players, they have a better chance to win. They get better pay.
Collegiate coaches, what are they looking for?
They want to
looking
win.
for a gig to be a pro coach, right?
Sure,
so they want to win. They want to move up.
They want to move up.
If they're a
on
JC
the
coach,
ladder.
a junior college coach, he wants to move up to a 4-year university.
True.
The 4-year guys from the top universities, they're looking for gigs to be pro NBA coaches or football or whatever it might be. Right?
That makes sense. Yeah, if you think about it, that really
so
makes
they're
sense,
out. They are seriously out there looking for the best talent that they can get for their school.
Amazing. Wow.
Yeah. So there's an opportunity there. So
That's
there's no
a huge
barrier,
opportunity,
to a kid from Taiwan or a kid from any country to be in the American system. And you asked about some benefits or something for international. There are some. There are some colleges in America that have sister relationships with Taiwan. And in those instances, they might offer scholarships to kids from the country that they have the relationships with.
Okay, that sounds good.
Yeah. So we've even had one college offer one of our kids cash bonus just for being from Taiwan, because there was a sister city relationship between that, I think it was with the state, and with Taipei City.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. Lucky.
So there are a lot of ways, American colleges have a lot of ways to help the kids financially, help them with admissions, and with so many schools, over 2,000 colleges in America.
Yeah, right.
There's almost one for everybody, right?
That's true, yeah.
Especially in sports.
And then they all have the sports teams, and they all have all the teams. And
like in baseball, for example, at America, from all the various levels, from junior colleges up to the NCAA D1, or what we call Division I,
D1,
there are about 1,600 colleges in America that have baseball teams. That's a lot,
that's
right?
A lot, yeah.
So
and they all need players.
Somewhere there's an opportunity. If you're a decent baseball player, usually we should be able to find a program for you.
That's great. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's grab this next one, and then we can talk. We can keep talking about the
so now
ACA because I love it. So this is Chipotle. So it's still not too spicy, but you can go drum or wing.
I'll switch to wing this time.
I'll take this.
You do this drum.
Get that cilantro on there.
Cheers.
All right, cheers, man.
Yeah.
Enjoy. Yeah.
That's good. I love Chipotle.
Yeah.
No, that's good. A little bit more spice too.
A little bit more, tiny bit more, right? Yeah.
There we go.
So all of this put together is what created the ACA, I'm guessing, right?
Yeah.
And how long has the ACA been going? I mean, is it new? It's been a couple. I know it from the MFA guys, right?
Yeah.
From you working with them, but how long has the ACA been in existence?
Well, we actually formally opened the company in April last year, April 1st.
Okay.
So we've been about a year and a half, let's say. But about a year and a half before that is when I had the idea.
The idea, okay.
Primarily, again, for my son. I started going back to the States.
You had all
meeting
the
with
info,
college coaches. I
info.
thought, because I saw he was doing well in the baseball program in
fantastic,
Taiwan.
yeah.
So I thought he's got an opportunity, maybe to enter U.S. University as an athlete, as a student athlete,
sure.
scholarship, and all of that. So I just started going back, looking into the opportunities. Met with some coaches, met with some people. A friend of mine from I went to UCLA.
You have connections there as well. Some connections in the States.
Yeah,
too, right?
A friend of mine who was at UCLA with me. Her son just entered USC as a baseball player.
Okay.
So she had just a wealth of information about the whole process. And
fantastic. Yeah.
For me, being away from the States for 30 some years, it was a bit of a revelation of how the recruitment to college had changed from when I was a kid to today. That the process is, of course, very much online, online recruiting, videos, of course, communication, college research, all of this. But then also what the kids do in America now to get recruited to collegiate sports programs.
Okay.
One, they start very young. Two, they probably practice more, hire coaches, join private programs. Basically, they almost play year-round too, kind of like what Taiwan does. So kids who play baseball in America now,
would they play indoors, sort of on the off season, or is it the weather's okay? I mean, certain states
I
don't
wonder
snow,
in some of the colder states. I'm from California, right?
Okay,
I was going around California talking to coaches and other people there. So again, with the weather there, it's very much outdoor year-round, right?
No problem.
And what's happening is the kids are getting involved in programs. They're basically running year-round, and then also they're going to college tryouts when they're in high school. That's a big thing that didn't exist when I was a kid.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It's huge business now. They're called showcases, combines, camps. There are a number of these events. Even my son goes. So last summer, my son and I, we went off to Los Angeles, and he played in a 2-day showcase event
Wow.
In front of 40 college coaches.
Oh my gosh,
So
that's amazing.
UCLA, USC, Harvard, Yale, San Diego State,
How'd it
Washington
go?
State.
How was he feeling?
Yeah, good.
Was he a little nervous, I'm sure?
Yeah, he was nervous
of
because,
course,
for him, it was actually the first time playing with American kids.
Yeah, okay, that's
He's
so
been with
funny.
the Taiwan kids
Yeah,
since he's
sure.
fifth
Like,
grade, actually,
local
before
boy,
that.
yeah, local
so
boy.
now he's gone off to the States. That was part of the reason for bringing him over early.
Yeah, because
Was-
that's going to be a little shock for sure.
Yeah, just to get him acclimated. Of course, his English isn't too bad.
Yeah, no, of
'Cause
course,
we speak
with you,
English.
you guys speak English,
so
yeah.
his English isn't too bad,
Yeah,
although
yeah.
he goes to local school.
Yeah.
But for him, it was actually learning a new language because they don't use the English terminology. They use Japanese terminology in baseball here. When the kids are communicating on the field,
Okay, yeah.
they actually use Japanese words.
Okay.
It's interesting, right? Again, the links between Taiwan baseball and Japanese baseball going back decades, right?
Okay.
So anyway, so it was very good for him. So this kind of activity in America now, these events, the college tryouts the kids go to are really important for getting recruited to the right college. So after I saw this complex process that exists nowadays, it made it very clear that it wasn't so easy for kids from countries like Taiwan or China.
How would they know?
How would they
They
know
don't
how
have
to
your
do
connection.
that?
They don't have the idea of what
Language
what it was,
alone,
what it is.
because all your
Language too,
online profile, your statistics, even simple things like on your online profile, putting your grade point average into the American GPA grade point average system.
of course,
They can't do that. They wouldn't know how to do that. So just simply getting information into a presentable form to an American college coach
That makes sense.
is a big process.
That's already a process.
We just signed a baseball player a few weeks ago, Taiwanese, but he's been playing high school baseball in Japan.
Okay, nice.
So he had his 9th grade, and when you submit college application into the NCAA eligibility, it's 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th grades all have to be looked at to calculate, right?
Okay.
And so he did 9th grade in Taiwan, in 10th and 11th grade, he's in his 12th grade now. He did 10th and 11th grade in Japan. So the guys in our office who do that and know how to calculate that based on the local system, they said, "Oh, Jim, this is like a huge headache. I had to put together a Japanese system, Taiwan system, and meld that into an American GPA, a single-digit number." Right? So
that's tough.
So simple things like that. In addition to the process of
a local would just be like, I have no idea, forget it. I guess,
very
right?
tough unless someone was
Very
helping
tough.
you.
Yeah.
Now, some of the top athletes in Taiwan, let's say tennis players, some of the golfers and others, they have some people who help them. Like Nike. I know Nike will extend assistance to some of the top basketball prospects in Taiwan. And they've got great relationships when it comes to basketball. Of course, they work with a lot of collegiate programs in America.
Of course,
so
Nike's
they can
huge,
help a player here and there. But they're primarily just looking at some of the superior talent.
They're like the cream of the crop, the elite,
Because that's, for Nike, it's about branding.
And then they sponsor that guy.
Exposure.
And
They'll sponsor
Nike
him. They'll do things
to the
like
tournaments, right? Okay.
Yeah. So that's a whole different thing.
Sure. Of course,
But and that's very few, and no one's doing it for baseball.
Okay.
And baseball is where Taiwan has the most talent.
Yeah, I mean, so it sounds like you're filling a pretty good void there, man. So you guys have focused primarily on baseball. Are there other sports that you guys are able to do this with as well?
Yeah, again, we started in baseball.
Of course, sure.
Again, because there's
Your son and
my
Taiwan
son
is great
originally,
baseball,
and Taiwan's good in baseball and everything. But then what we wanted to do was at least have a broader reach. And Taiwan excels also, in Asia in general, in other sports areas. So we expanded and launched the business in 6 sports. So baseball, golf and tennis, basketball, soccer, and volleyball.
Okay.
So we focus in on those 6 sports.
Really?
We do a little bit in a few other sports.
Okay.
But those are the 6 primary. And golf has been pretty good in tennis. So we've
golf
mostly...
is good, really?
Yeah,
Okay.
golf been pretty good. I mean, golf in particular, because if you look at the... Let's say, again, you have to look at the pro level and work down from there.
Of course.
And if you look at the men's professional golf tour, the PGA Tour, you've always had a number of Koreans, Taiwanese, Japanese, and others who have competed quite well, right, and done very well. Which means there are then below them hundreds, if not thousands,
that are
collegiate potentials,
just
right?
That view, right? Yeah.
And then you look at the women's tour. About the LPGA tour, about 50% of the players on the LPGA tour are from Asia.
You know what? I did not even realize that.
50%. You look at the roster, you'll see who are the players on the LPGA tour.
That's true. Yeah.
The Koreans, mainland China, Taiwan. Taiwan had the number one player for quite a while, Yanni Zhang. Zheng Yani, right? Zheng Yani was the world number one golfer.
I saw that, but I didn't. Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Philippines, Thailand, across Asia, there've been a huge
what
number.
Do you think, why do you think that is? Is it just
it's
because they can golf all
question.
year round? You think, or
I don't know.
I'm
not. To be honest, I'm not really sure why the Asian women have done so well on the LPGA tour.
That's fantastic.
But again, it's the same formula. If you've got one or two of those, you've got another 100 that never could quite get there. That are definite collegiate potentials, and we're placing some now. Beautiful. So we work with a number of golfers too.
Beautiful. Okay.
So golf has been quite good. Tennis. We sent some kids off this year for tennis programs in America.
So I was about a month ago. I had a girl on. Her name's Jordan Parker, and she's about 14 years old. And I think we were chatting about that. And she's doing very well. I mean, she started a while ago, but she's got that kind of like, her mom's Taiwanese, her dad's American, so she's kind of got the Asian thing where she's dedicated to it, but she's got the American of like, let's go. I had her on the wing show. Yeah. The last few were really hot for her, but she was like, I'm not stopping. I'm like, I have to finish these. I'm like, it's all right, you don't have to finish.
She's got the athlete's mentality.
No, I'm finishing this. Yeah, if it kills me, I'm doing it, And she attributed a lot to her dad. Her dad is an athletic guy who's always like kind of like the Western dad, where they're just like, hey, let's go. They're pushing their kids, and in a good way, right? Not in the not so good way. But yeah, I mean, I think maybe I'll definitely introduce you guys, and that'd be fantastic. I'd love to see her do well. And she's a great kid too.
Yeah, she looked really good.
She's very athletic, very strong.
As I mentioned to you, right, one of the guys in my office who was a collegiate tennis player, handles our tennis players, he mentioned to me one day that he met a guy named Jeff Parker.
Jeff Parker, sure.
Right, who I know is Jordan
Parker's dad.
Right? Yeah. So, and I know that they had a conversation, and the daughter then may have been only 13 or something, but maybe some opportunity for us to talk with them. I'd love to be.
I'll definitely
perfect.
Introduce you guys, and
yeah, we'd love to help. We just sent about 2 weeks ago, our top tennis player flew off to the States to the University of Washington.
Wow.
He was Taiwan's number 2, number 3 ranked men's tennis player.
Okay.
And he also had a global ranking of about 155. So what's nice about tennis players and golfers also is they can also compete in international tournaments and actually get a ranking. And that helps a lot with recruitment.
Of course,
Right.
Yeah. That
and this
sense.
individual, Hans Lin was his name.
Okay.
He did have the opportunity to travel to the States. He would go in the summers, and he would play in tournaments. And these are ranking events. And again, he was a very good player, so he had a lot of opportunity.
It must feel good for you guys as well to get these, I don't want to say unknown, but these sort of some of the athletes in Taiwan, putting them in like a university in the States. It's got to be pretty fulfilling as well, rewarding, I would think.
It is. It's a real win-win, right? It's a win for us, obviously.
Yeah.
It's a win for the kid, of course, and the university wins by getting an opportunity to recruit players that they may not. So we're actually getting contacted by more and more universities that are starting to hear about us.
Fantastic. I love it.
More of the smaller programs that probably have a little bit more of a challenge in recruiting good players.
Well, you said it's been a year, right?
Yeah, so we're starting to get contacted by some university coaches saying, if you see players of certain caliber, and they probably will give us some indication of the kind of player they're looking for.
Yeah.
They want us to help them, help their program. We've been contacted by tennis programs, soccer programs.
Really?
Nobody from golf yet, but baseball. I wish we had some baseball ones.
Yeah.
But there is definitely more and more of an interest from collegiate coaches on the opportunities in Asia.
What about?
And a lot of them haven't known.
Well, I think people
Number
don't
one,
know.
Communication, of course, is difficult.
Yeah, exactly. And I also think even if you can speak another language, culture is still another thing. It's like another language almost, right?
Yeah.
It's like I remember. I think it was my first or second year here. I went. I had a cold or something. Well, for some reason I went, like something minor. I went to the doctor, and they're like, "Oh, the doctor speaks English, no problem, everything's good." And I had zero Chinese at the time, and I went in, and then he sees me. He's like, "Sit." Like, okay, And then I'm like, "Whatever, it is what it is." So I'm sitting there, and he's writing something down. It's like, "Okay, what's your problem?" That's what he said to me. And I'm just like, whoa.
Right.
Now you're my problem because you're pissing me off. Well, why are you getting in my face, man? I got a cold or something, and But it wasn't that he was trying to be rude. That was just. I mean, he learned the language, but he didn't learn the
bedside manner,
culture.
right?
He learned it. Yeah, it's like whoa. You're like, and it's kind of like. Like back home, you kind of walk on eggshells to be so polite, and someone's like, "What's your problem?" And you're just like, "Whoa!" It's like a big slap in the face, right? Like, okay, geez, relax.
So we try to bridge that gap a little bit in the communication,
Of
right?
course,
and in some instances, we'll even help translate for the kids. We'll put together phone calls for them. For some of the tennis players, for example, the one who just went off to University of Washington, we set up his whole collegiate. Campus interviews.
Okay.
So the NCAA in America allows a student who comes over to the United States and wants to visit campuses, 5 what they call official visits. You're limited to 5. What that means is, official visit is the coach, the school can pay for you to come there.
5. Okay. So
but you only get limited to 5.
School?
No, just 5 different schools.
Okay,
so you can go to 5 different schools on their bill. You can go as many as you want on your own.
Okay, yeah.
But of course, you want to save money, right?
Yeah, of course.
And so the coaches have budget to do that.
Wow.
So we even go through the process of managing for that, and that's quite nice for them, right? Because the travel, the communication, the setup, all the interviews, and all of that. Wow. But the coaches have budget to do that, right? To invite the kids over that they're interested in. Okay. And they do that every year. Again, with COVID going on right now, of course, all of this is
special time,
somewhat on hold. But so we'll help. We really try to help bridge for the kids. Okay. Even from the basics of their online profiles and GPAs, and let them know about the NCAA eligibility center they have to go through. You have to go through a process. If you play at the NCAA D1, D2, Division 1, Division 2 level, you actually even have to go and make an application to the NCAA. So they have to approve you.
Sure. That
and that's
sense.
mostly to approve you based on 2 things. One is academically. You've taken a certain number of types of classes in high school. Okay. Basic classes, core classes, right? English, math, whatever.
That makes sense.
And the second is to approve your amateur status.
Okay.
So you have to make certain declarations
so you
to
can't
them.
Be like you haven't played pro somewhere, any kind of money on any.
Right.
Okay.
They ask
What's
in
the definition
detail.
of pro? Making money playing a sport? That's a kind of a.
Basically living off it. Right. Okay. More living off that. You can get a little bit of money. You can do. You can't go, for example, as an amateur, play a professional tennis event, win $20,000-$30,000 US.
So there's some kind of cap.
Go back and say I'm an amateur. You can't. But you can have been, let's say, Nike's provided you shoes, and you've got a racket sponsor. Maybe you've got a transportation. If you're covering your basic expenses through sponsorship and support, that's okay. They're not going to bother you with that. It's when you start making money from it.
When you're like,
then
that makes sense. Yeah.
Declared or not, they'll determine. The NCAA would say you've already declared yourself as a professional athlete. You cannot play at the collegiate level in America. So the students have to go through a process to be approved by. And there were cases just recently, I forget where it was, I think in the States, it was in the States, in the college, I forget where the student was from. They actually had gone off to the States and got accepted into a program, and later on the NCAA said that they weren't approved to play. They actually they lost their scholarship because they weren't approved by the NCAA.
That's tough.
Yeah, so again, all the paperwork and all the process the kids need to go to.
Taking care of that would be, I'm sure, a headache.
It can be very
somebody
tough.
like you that's taking care of it. I would think that would be a pretty good gig.
I think it's very helpful.
For people,
it really helps them. And again, it's just like being an agent for them in a different way.
Sure.
That they can concentrate on their studies, which they still need to do, and of course concentrate on their athletics, right? Which is the primary thing, right? Yeah. So that's what we do.
Wow. Yeah. Wow. That's pretty amazing. Because I did the research, but I wasn't quite sure all of the stuff that you guys did.
And the first step, of course, is just even at the beginning, before we even get to that level, is matching a child, and his family to the right kind of school. Sure. Because again, let's say baseball alone. There's 1,000 or so, 1,600 or so collegiate baseball programs. Everything from small, say junior colleges, up to Harvard University's got a baseball team, right?
Yeah.
And of course the top baseball programs,
Okay.
UCLA
Okay.
and many others. So there's a huge selection in there, huge range of prices, huge number of programs
Yeah.
and quality of just the baseball side. But then you've got the academic side you've got to consider too.
Makes sense. Yeah.
So matching at the first step, where do you want to go? What do you want to do?
What are you looking for?
Yeah, what are you looking for? Because you got to narrow down from 1,600.
Sure.
You try to narrow that to like 30 to 50.
Okay.
Okay, that's a workable number to start communicating with, right? Talking to coaches, see where, because for example, you might be interested to play baseball at UCLA, let's say, if you're at that level.
Yeah.
And let's say you're a pitcher.
Yeah.
But if UCLA that year is graduating no senior pitchers, they're keeping all their freshmen and juniors, sophomores and juniors. No one's leaving.
No one's leaving.
And the coach is already maxed out on pitchers.
Yeah.
Coach doesn't need you. He's not going to spend scholarship money on you because he doesn't need you.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you've also got to be able to match the person. You know, for example, we talk like to the tennis programs and the coaches.
Okay.
You know, they will have a conversation with them about what they're looking for and what they need and where they are. And again, this is another situation going on with COVID right now.
Sure.
Is the NCAA has also allowed kids that are playing sports at American colleges now where you only are given 4 years of eligibility to play sports. You know, you might take 5 or 6 years to graduate from the college, but you only can play sports for 4 years.
Okay, that's new, right?
Yeah, it's been that way for a while now. So you got 4 years of eligibility, but with COVID now, because some sports seasons were canceled, the NCAA has come out and say, all of these kids are getting the 5th year, so they can stay. So now you've got a situation where seniors, who should be graduating
super seniors
in June,
they
can theoretically, the student athletes, they can stay another year. So coaches are in this situation where they're not really sure.
They've got an abundance of talent that they have at their disposal.
They might not be losing many of their seniors.
Makes sense.
Now, if they've got, let's say, a baseball team, if he has 8-10 seniors, then he should be filling in with 8 or 10 new incomers.
Every team.
If 7 or 8 or 9 of those kids stay, he's not going to need a lot more talent next year.
Wow. COVID has just shook everything up, huh?
Yeah. So again, the communication with the coaches in America isn't just about your talent and who you are. It's also what their needs are.
Of course.
Yeah. They've got certain needs, and at different times, it's going to be a different situation.
Let's grab the next
one. There we are.
Yeah, we'll keep going. We're still pretty chill. Still round 1.
Yeah.
So you want a drum or you want the wing?
I'll go back to the drum.
Back to the drum. Yeah. A little extra meat on there.
Okay.
This is sort of like a little. We use local cayenne peppers to make this one.
Okay.
So it's pretty.
They grow cayenne here locally?
We don't grow. They do. That. You know, if you ever, I didn't know this until a while ago. Until recently, if you go to the market, they're really long red Taiwanese peppers. Those are cayenne.
Is that
apparently,
right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I didn't know that.
I never knew that either.
Because I would always buy dried cayenne, or I would buy like the Gongbaojing cayenne. But those are actually cayenne. So, so we because I went into the market and I was like, I always try to buy the really rare chilies, but actually there's a lot of chilies here. So let's try these, right? So
Yeah. Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice. That's good. That's very good. It's not terribly spicy. No?
It's not. No. Round 1's pretty mellow. Yeah.
Okay.
So for scholarships to U.S. colleges, foreign athletes, are they also eligible for that? Like, can they be from any sort of anywhere? Foreign athletes can be eligible for that.
Doesn't matter. American colleges.
They just want the best.
They just want the best. So a scholarship.
That sounds American, but that sounds right as well.
Yeah, America's unique for student athletes in that it's still the best place for it to go, for opportunity, for a quality education, and for the opportunity to play sports in college, either on scholarship or not, and then of course even if you have the ability to transition then into professional.
That's
and again,
fantastic,
PGA Tour, the NBA, Major League Baseball, no football players here, but the NFL, of course, in America. So it's a good opportunity for student athletes there, and it's very much supported with money at the collegiate level. So,
well, that's always important. Yeah.
Yeah. Unfortunately, the downside of the scholarship thing for athletes, let's say from Asia, isn't that there isn't opportunity or that they're not treated equally. They are treated 100% equally. Is that the majority of the scholarship money at American colleges for athletes is in American football, and basketball. Now, those aren't the sport. First of all, no one plays American football out here.
Yeah, no. I mean,
so there's zero clients that we would ever have in that system, and there's a lot of money in football.
Big guys playing football, so it'd be tough to find another country with huge guys that would go in there and be able to compete the NFL.
It's very much an American.
That's going to be tough. Yeah,
very much domestic.
Yeah.
Anyway, so there aren't very many international players that go into that system, which means they don't have access to those kind of scholarship dollars.
Okay.
Basketball, again, huge competitive scene in America.
Yeah. Again,
Europe now too.
Europe's got some good ones.
Europe's got some good players. You just look at the makeup of the NBA now, right? And you can see how many players from Asia are playing in the NBA. Outside of Yao Ming,
there was like Jeremy Lin, right? And that
Jeremy Lin did quite well.
Did well,
So there's been a bit, but not a lot. Right?
But it's not like the mainstream of.
Not like you find like we were talking about in the LPGA, where you get 50% of the tour.
The
athletes are from Asia, right? You don't see that in the NBA, right?
Yeah,
so unfortunately for the scholarship, we don't have access to the top scholarship dollars, which are in basketball and football. But then golf, tennis, they're not too bad. They've got good scholarships available.
I would see that almost as a plus, because I would imagine the basketball and the football and like the really, really top scholarships would be a lot more competitive to achieve, right?
Yeah, very competitive.
I mean, that makes sense.
Right.
Yeah.
But they tend to be bigger. So
so
they
everybody
have
wants those.
they call. There's two kinds of athletic scholarship. There's a full ride. Okay.
Which sounds like a full ride.
Full ride, you get 100%. Right. They cover basically everything: tuition, books, housing, food. Everything is covered. Right.
Okay.
Yeah, everything basically. So it is 100% coverage. And then you've got the partial scholarships. Which is the majority. Most of the scholarships given away to student athletes in America at the universities are partial scholarships. Okay. So that means that the coach has a pool of money every year. It might change year to year. He's got a budget. So he might have, let's say, a baseball coach at a university has $100,000 US, okay? That he can give away that year. So he might have a player he really wants. He might give $15,000, maybe $20,000 to that one player. Of course, now he's got to balance the rest of it out to the 7 or the 8 or the 9. So you might get down to where he's got $5,000 for you, or $7,500 or something like that. But that's what's going to happen at the smaller colleges, and of course in the sports that don't have full rides.
You guys are good. Yeah, it's all good. No problem. Yeah, it's all good.
So there are the two different kinds of scholarships, but still there's a number of the sports, including baseball, but golf and tennis for sure. There are still a fair number of full ride scholarships that are available. Just not as many as the football and the basketball.
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
Okay. That sounds great.
So, and they have access to it. The players here from Taiwan.
Yeah.
Almost every player we've sent over to the States has gotten a scholarship to go.
That's great.
And what's nice too is that the coaches at the university, if they want a player, they have a lot of ways that they can help an athlete, student athlete. And one of them is the athletic scholarship, but they can also find academic scholarships for students. Because if you have a certain GPA level, he can access the college's scholarship fund based on your academic standing.
That makes sense.
Yeah, they can do that too. So we've gotten a number of cases where the coach has said to us, I can find, because let's say you have a 3.5 GPA.
And I would imagine Taiwanese kids are pretty good at school.
And they're pretty good at that. Yeah. So
sure.
generally speaking, we've been able to get a combination scholarship for the kids.
Beautiful.
Because they maintain a pretty decent GPA.
Yep.
And the coach sees that, and if the coach can get $5,000 or $10,000 of the college's money, that's
of course.
money he saves for his athletic budget.
True. That makes sense. Yeah.
So he has an incentive to try to help the kids.
It's like a bonus for him.
It's a real bonus, right? So that's a nice feature of again for student athletes. Dealing with the coaches at the university.
I would think that there are very few people in Taiwan with this knowledge. I mean, because that's pretty in depth, I think. Well, that's pretty cool stuff.
Yeah, it's a lot of it is just about communication. Talking to the coach, understanding him, knowing how to talk with him, and again, just the language.
I think communication
thing makes it difficult.
One of the biggest parts of life. I mean, because sometimes, any miscommunication, that doesn't get repaired and even in my industry here, it just blows up into like something incredible. You're just like, whoa, what happened there?
Basic stuff.
It's crazy.
Like
it's crazy.
Yeah, and I have to say the American college coaches, although very enthusiastic about recruiting the best players or whatever they can get from any country, it doesn't matter. Many of them don't have a lot of experience dealing with Asian athletes, frankly speaking.
Oh, sure. I can imagine. Yeah,
they're very willing to work with them, bring them over. They don't have any problem with that. There's no discrimination.
Sure. No,
nothing like that at all. Yeah. But I don't think they have a lot of experience in dealing with them.
No, for sure. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
But they're open to it.
So for being a bridge is that sounds fantastic, man.
Yeah. That's kind of that's kind of what we do.
That's ACA, right?
Yeah. That's
fantastic. I love it. Let's finish this last one. We'll call it round two. Yeah. Okay. So this is just like a simple, like a Korean. It's pretty mild still, but it's a Korean style. It's our only kind of fusiony one. And
Okay, you got the drum. I'll do the wing this time.
I'll take the drum on that one.
Okay.
A little fusion.
So what is this, like Korean gochujang sauce or something like that?
Something like that. Yeah. So we mix it up. I used to have one of my staff that used to work at a Korean place. His family used to own one, and he was here, and he's like, we can do this, and I said,
that's
okay.
Good. That's not too spicy.
It's not too spicy. Yeah.
No.
You guys can switch to the brown chairs if you want. Yeah. You want to use the brown chairs? Yeah. You can switch the chairs if you want. You're good. Yeah.
That's good.
Round two will go up a little.
Okay. That's good. A little sweet.
A little bit sweet, right?
Wow.
So maybe you can give a shout out to a couple of your guys, your clients that you've hooked up. Yeah. Some of your students. I'll pull up a picture.
Yeah. Pull up a picture. Maybe Hans, right? The tennis player.
Boom. How about this one? Yeah.
That's Hans. Yeah. So
okay.
Hans Lin. He graduated in June of this year.
Okay.
Yeah, and that was the one I was mentioning. Excuse me. Taiwan's number, very in between number 2 and number 3 in tennis. Fantastic player.
So he graduated high school.
Graduated high school in June of this year. And he just 2 weeks ago flew off to the University of Washington. Nice. We got him to the University of Washington.
Okay.
On a nice package, scholarship deal and everything.
Great. Washington, that's cool.
It was good because he'd competed a lot internationally. He'd played in tournaments. He'd been to the States a number of times.
Okay. Thank you.
Oh, this looks spicy.
Yeah, it's a little spicy. You can start to smell it a little bit when it comes out.
Han's a good kid. Anyway, he'll do very well. So he flew off, right? Like I said, just a couple of weeks ago. He's at the University of Washington in Seattle right now.
The family's happy.
Yeah, family's happy. In fact, we originally got him into 2 other schools.
Okay.
And they chose University of Washington. I think they like the proximity of, direct Type A to Seattle flight versus
the direct flight.
Nebraska was one. Okay. I forget the other one that he had an offer to. So
it's, the power of a direct flight, man. It's underrated for sure.
I think the mother was excited more about
direct flight. Even when I go back to visit, once in a while I would try to save a little bit of money here and there, and I would take like indirect flights, and you go to Japan or to Hong Kong, or you kind of bounce all over. But Taipei to Vancouver is just, when you get on the flight, you get off and you're in Vancouver.
Isn't that great?
It's the best thing ever. Yeah.
I'm from LA, right?
Direct,
LA twice a day on EVA or Beautiful. China and all this.
EVA's
so easy.
I love EVA Air. Yeah,
me too.
It's the best.
Yeah, ever since they started flying.
Enjoy it. Yeah,
I've pretty much flown EVA.
I love EVA. Yeah,
go to Hong Kong.
The service.
Go anywhere, right?
Everything's fantastic.
They're pretty good. It's a good airline. I think. Yeah, EVA's done a very good job.
Beautiful. Yeah. What about? Let's pull up one more picture.
Yeah. So we had. That was high. Okay. That's Ping. Yeah.
Okay.
Ping's an interesting one. We met Ping through our friends here, Master Football Academy.
Master Football.
Michael Chandler, Dan Calvert, right? Great guys, right?
Fantastic guys. Yeah.
Train a lot of kids in Taiwan and do a really good job with them, right?
Great guys.
Fantastic
guys.
people. We work closely with them. Yep. So Ping worked, studied with them. He practiced with them, going back to when he was young.
Okay.
Then his family sent him off to high school in California.
Oh.
So he did his high school at Leland High in San Jose.
Oh, wow.
And so when we started working with him now, I don't know, year and a half ago.
He continued to play, I guess?
Yeah,
there?
he continued to play and quite well. So he even joined one of the local football clubs. Yeah, quite impressive. Good player. And we just sent him off to, he started also this year going to Tiffin University in Ohio.
Okay.
Which is a NCAA D2 level school.
Okay.
Offered him a scholarship.
Okay.
As I recall, he got an academic and a combined athletic scholarship together. Again, he was a good student, he had good grades. I think, of course, living in the States, great English, and he's a great kid. And he used to come out to Taiwan. They would bring him back because he played on the national team. He was that good.
Oh, okay.
So they'd bring him back because he's still a Taiwan passport holder,
Beautiful.
right?
Yeah. Okay.
So he would come back and even play in the Taiwan national team.
You know what? I think they've mentioned to me. The MFA guys have mentioned him to me before. Yeah. It sounds like a familiar story for sure.
Yeah. He's a really good player, right? Beautiful. So he did very well. He's gone off to a really good, strong program.
Okay.
He's got good academics, good attitude. He'll do well. I think he'll do well.
What we were saying, I think, like back home, I don't want to generalize, but sometimes an athlete will just be like a full-out athlete, and maybe the academics will dip a little bit.
Yeah.
But I think here, academics are always seem to be pretty good. I know, like you get a lot of homework and I got a lot of extra stuff, but I think the academics, that combined thing is a pretty solid idea.
And the academic side of the recruitment process is actually more important than a lot of people think.
Okay.
A lot of people think, oh, you're just a good athlete, they'll recruit you.
Yeah.
Of course, they might recruit you first based on that, but also, and this is why the online profile that we create and having the GPA there and your SAT or whatever is really important to put on the profile when we first reach out to the coaches.
Yeah.
Is a coach from let's say a top university isn't going to recruit you if you don't have your academic information there to begin with, and you don't meet at least the basic minimum requirements for that school.
It makes sense because, the coach doesn't want to have their star athlete in trouble with academics, and they're going to have to be babysitting this guy, I would imagine, thinking, man, do your homework. Come on, I need you to play. Do your homework, That makes sense. Yeah.
Yes, because,
I never really thought about it until now.
He spends his money on you. He gives you the scholarship, you get there, and you don't have, at NCAA D1, D2 level, if you don't maintain a 2.0 GPA in college, you're taken off the team.
Okay.
So the coach, he needs people who can at least maintain that level.
Sure.
And now they do give a lot of support to the kids. So the coaches will also assist the kids in study by providing tutors and study classes and other things for them. So they get a lot of help when they're there. Because again, the coach has a huge incentive to keep you on the team, keep you academically healthy, right?
But at the end of the day, the kid has to prove that he cares about it, right?
Yeah.
You can have all the tutors you want, but if you don't care.
Right.
Yeah, no, so if they have a decent sort of GPA, I would imagine that's something that coaches want because...
there's a kind of kid in America.
Yeah.
In fact, there was a Netflix, I believe, program called Last Chance U. U is in university.
Okay.
And what it is there's a kind of kid they call a 424.
Okay.
424. Meaning he went to a 4-year university. He got knocked down to a 2-year junior college.
Okay.
And after junior college, now he wants to go back to a 4-year university.
Okay.
It's a 424.
Wow.
And it's a very complicated process because of the eligibility requirements. But what happened is there are some of the kids maybe who academically have problems, or maybe they've got problems at home.
Yeah, of course. Sometimes
they've got
at home there's
personal problems.
Yeah.
As we know, this happens in America.
Yeah, of course it happens.
But they're superior athletes. They get a huge scholarship. They get a nice offer to Florida State to play football, or UCLA to play basketball or whatever. And for whatever reason, they get thrown off the team, thrown out of school.
Yeah.
Those kids, again, they're superior talent. They'll go to a junior college, try to get their life back in order.
Okay.
Play on the sports team.
That makes sense. Yeah.
And then after 2 years down there, they'll try to go back to the 4-year university level.
That's nice because you never really hear about that.
It happens a lot. But with the Taiwan, the important thing is
Taiwan, I would imagine.
The Taiwan kids, you're not going to have that problem.
Yeah.
They're
doing their homework. They got a good attitude.
Do their homework. They've got a good attitude.
Yeah.
They follow. They're very what
people
the
are
coaches will call
friendly.
coachable.
Yeah, coachable.
They're coachable.
Yeah. People here are generally friendly, generally well-mannered. right?
Yes.
I think it's a great place. Like I said, I've been here for almost half my life, and that's great. I mean, people ask me, when are you moving back? I'm like, no, I'm home here. If you want to come and see me, man. I got an extra room.
Yeah.
And then when my family actually came out, my mom's come to visit, my brothers come, and my sisters come, all at different times. And then they were all like, all right, I get it. I get it why you like it here. I mean, weather's nice. You can live cheap. You can buy what you want. When I was single, my brother came in. He's like, okay, there's gorgeous women everywhere. I mean, it's a good place. I mean, I get it. You're almost like you're living on vacation, right?
Mm-hmm.
For like permanently. But it's not.
No.
It's not like. No offense, but it's not like a sleazy way. It's like it's just a great place.
Yeah,
it's just
a
hidden gem, right? It's
a
hidden
really
gem.
Yeah.
I think with the COVID thing doing so well here, I think it's been. I mean, it's not such a hidden gem, but it's still hidden. It's still hidden. And we're happy to.
And now it's isolated because people don't want to come. You have to quarantine for 2 weeks.
And now people are like they want to come here, but they can't.
They can't.
And I'm like, really?
Yeah. Yeah, so the kids here, again, the athletes that we work with, one of the great things is we don't have problems with them.
Yeah, of course.
There's
will
no
never have
drug problem.
Yeah.
There isn't much of an attitude problem. I mean, again, if you're an athlete, you've got
you have that
a
alpha,
bit of,
you have that
I don't want to say
alpha,
attitude, but you've got a confidence, right? You've got a certain kind of confidence.
You're an alpha if you're killing it, right? Yeah,
you've got to
sure.
be, right? To a certain extent, but you don't want that to dominate your personality or to bring out negative traits in your personality, which happens in other countries, right?
Sure.
So the kids are very coachable, as I said, and I think that coaches in America, the collegiate coaches in America, find them to be very easy to work with.
I would imagine so, yeah.
Yeah,
because
they do.
I mean, I think in America, I mean, it's similar to Canada, but they're exposed to everybody, like every country, every race, every culture. Yeah. So I mean, just like Guai Guai, the little Taiwanese kid who's good. He does his homework. He comes to play. I would imagine they love that. Yeah.
Like when I watch my son's baseball games, right?
Yeah.
The kids that are playing baseball, first of all, you don't see any fights.
Yeah, no one never.
I often say to my son when we're watching Major League Baseball on TV and all that, the pitcher hits the batter and the batter rushes the pitcher and they get a big fight and a brawl. And I always tell him, see, that's what you have to learn to go play baseball in America. You have to learn to fight.
You have to learn to fight,
I think he thinks I'm serious, right?
Yeah.
But that doesn't exist there in Taiwan. Yeah. The kids don't do that kind of thing.
No, they don't fight, right? I mean, it's pretty incredible, No, I think it's a special little place, man. I don't know. It's hard to describe unless you really live here and you're in there. You're in, like, not like 1 or 2 years. You're in here. Like kind of like a lifer, you really realize how great
a nice place
it is.
Right? Taiwan's a very nice place, right?
Let's grab the next one, brother. You ready for that? Round
we're
2.
Off on the next one, are we?
Yeah.
Now we're gonna spice it up, are we?
All right, a little bit more.
Do the drum.
This one is similar to the cayenne, but it's made with bird's eye, the Thai chilies. So
it
should be a little.
Those are usually pretty spicy.
A little step up. It should be.
A little bit, but not too bad.
Not too bad. Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, I like that one. Yeah. When I make them, I try to do like a bit of a creamy base, and it's just onions and garlic simmered for a really long time, and there's no dairy. It's just I like that. That's a good one.
You should start a wings like a food truck.
We actually have some
wings and go out to events and do wings. Can you do that?
Yeah, probably. Yeah. We actually have some. We have a lot of ideas. We run out of time. When we have our solid guys, our staff, we got some great people right now.
You'll be the wing guy.
When it gets really busy, it's a little they get a little overworked, but it's a little tough. Staffing's a little bit tough. There's my daughter. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's your daughter?
That's my daughter. Yeah. She I brought her out to play soccer. She's 8. She didn't really like it that much. I mean, she's okay, but she's a little bit gentle, and she just gives the ball away. Like, we can share, But I'm a big UFC fan, and so I took her out to try Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and she loves that.
Oh, is that
she's
right?
She loves that one. Out of all of the things,
for the guys.
All of the things we tried, that's what she likes. So, she's enjoying it, and I mean, it's a pretty good skill to have, so she likes it.
That's good. It's important that they enjoy it, right? That's the with my son playing baseball, starting young, supported him, of course. And as he went along, I always asked him. I said, Chris, do you still like it?
You still like it?
Because I've asked him before, with the seriousness of the programs they have here. How important baseball is culturally. There's a number of kids on his team who he's told me before they don't like
it anymore.
They don't like it. They're burnt out.
They burn out the kids.
But either the parents want them to stay in it, or maybe they don't know where else to go. So I've always monitored his interest, and his interest has always grown.
It's important that they like it. I think
again, that's how I started looking into college for him, because he wanted to stay with it. He wanted to stay with it. Of course, he's like a lot of little kids. His dream would be to play Major League Baseball.
Of course, that's fantastic.
Love that.
Yeah, that's great. Well, we all have
college first.
Love that. For sure. Yeah. Well, I know a guy that can hook him up. So I know a guy.
I'm trying.
So good.
He graduates June of next year, right?
Okay.
So we're in the process right now of talking to a number of coaches for him.
Beautiful.
As I mentioned, we went to the tryouts last summer. We were supposed to go this summer, but COVID canceled that, so that's difficult.
Are you able to do some kind of like Zoom call interviews and stuff like that right now?
Yeah. Again, we've got the online profile. We updated his video. So what we do with the players is we produce for each player that we work together with a skills video. So we'll produce a video for the person, and then, depending on the sport, of course, show off at least basic skills. Or like in soccer with Ping, we've even cut in highlights of some of his games.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
That's great. So
then you give a good, 2, 3, 4, 5 minute look for the coach. That's about all the time the coach has as a first look at a player.
That's good.
So it's very, very important to produce.
Well, you have to get that. You have to catch
their
attention.
Video. Just show what's important. For baseball player, it's show your fielding, show your batting. That's it. They don't want to watch a video of his game where he stood in outfield.
He's standing there.
That's very difficult to
Video
do.
editing is very important. Sure.
Yeah, so the tennis
you're
player
just
is the same
marketing
way.
your player, right?
Yeah.
You're marketing yourself, right?
Yeah.
Agree.
So, that's a big part of the process. There's that producing of the video.
Okay.
Which then online we can give to the coaches. And that's always the first step anyway.
Okay.
So we're just unfortunate right now with COVID that we can't make the trips over and do a little bit more face-to-face.
COVID is weird because everything's kind of shut down. Like the world, I mean, people are kind of like home. They're kind of back home. They're kind of at home kind of doing nothing. But actually, it's kind of a nice reset a little bit. I mean, it's not a good thing. I'm not saying it's a good thing, but I'm saying that, kids are at home, like my sister has 3 kids, 2 of them are in college, but everyone was at home, and they're like, hey, I got my kid for 6 more months here, or whatever it is. They're happy, right? Everyone's like, hey, like when my daughter grows, I'll be bumming, I spend so much time with her, and I would imagine, when the kids go and they grow up and they go away, there's going to be a big hole missing, right? So to have them come back, it's probably going to be, I would imagine, a small positive. That families are having some more family time,
they get to spend a little bit more quality time.
A little bit more, right? I mean, if there's any positives, obviously there's not very many, right? But
there's a lot of
they're
negative,
all pretty happy, So it's good. And Canada, where we live, is small towns, so there's not much going on. So there's not really cases or anything. Everybody's just kind of, it's pretty chill.
Was it kind of COVID-free most of the time?
Pretty much, yeah. So far so good. Speaking of video, I won't have the audio here, but I'm gonna pull up.
线上求生存，线下拼学成，不是不可能，只要找对人。ACA 带你前进美国一流大学，延续你的电竞生涯。请相信最专业的亚洲体育顾问公司 ACA。
That's just online games.
Okay.
PC games and so forth is bigger than Hollywood movies now.
Wow. That makes sense. We're doing. I have all this equipment. I'm doing all this streaming and stuff. And my daughter. We spend a lot of time, but we play some video games and stuff. And she doesn't watch TV. She doesn't watch we watch movies, like Disney movies and stuff. But if she can get the remote and watch YouTube, she's watching her favorite YouTubers stream a video game. That's what she watches. And she wants to do that. So we're recently going to start a little something with her, streaming like a kid's game or whatever, and just for fun.
Yeah.
But I think it's crazy it's not quite esports, but like video game streaming is massive.
Well, again, it's just
massive.
like playing amateur community Little League baseball.
Yeah.
Then you move up to team baseball at the high school level, then
Yeah.
college, and then pro. Same thing in esports now.
Okay.
So what's happened now, the reason why we've also started, as you saw the logo,
I'm curious about
esports,
Esports,
is because colleges in America are starting to do, just for the last few years really, to organize varsity, collegiate esports teams, and they're giving away scholarship money.
So esports, scholarship money, university. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
And a lot of top universities are doing it. Even Ohio State University last year established an esports department within the university. You can now go to Ohio State and study esports. You can get a major in esports now.
So when someone says esports, obviously the video game, it has to be a sport game.
No.
Or can it be anything?
It could be any game.
Like Street Fighter,
It's just
for example,
competitive
whatever.
game.
It's just competitive gaming.
It's competitive gaming.
Okay.
That's what it is.
That was always what threw me off.
Yeah,
a
it's
little bit.
competitive. Now,
It doesn't have to be NBA,
some of the top
2K. Okay.
esports games played in America,
sports.
not popular here, is like Madden NFL,
Madden's a
NBA
great
2K.
Yeah.
There are some sports, and what's interesting now in America, there's so much, or in the world, there's so much investment going into esports. Even the NBA teams are sponsoring esports teams that play NBA games.
Really?
Yeah.
That's so I know that in Taiwan video games are big, right? It's quite popular
big.
here. So how can that be built here? Like what's your opinion of like how can we do like promote something like that here? Are there esports teams in Taipei?
Yeah.
There are
There
is
are.
it a common
Yeah.
thing? Okay.
Again, one of the reasons why we saw the opportunity also in esports, not just the size of the global market and the fact that American universities have teams and scholarships available, was also because there's a lot of talent out here.
Okay.
If you look at global esports, and I'm talking at the professional level, again, we always sort of look at the professional level and then work down, right?
You look up and then
there have been a lot of the top teams from Asia, I think originally more in Korea.
Okay.
A lot of the Korean players have been the top esports players for many, many years. There are a lot of good teams out here. Taiwan, too. And I'm talking at the professional level, right?
Okay.
And, of course, as you know, teenagers and kids in their early 20s, some of them are making hundreds of thousands and
real
millions
money,
of dollars
real money,
at esports, right?
Yeah, for
so it's an industry. It's well established. It's growing faster than any of the traditional sports.
That's I've heard,
And the U.S. universities are really putting a lot into it right now. There's a lot of emphasis on that. And also, what's interesting in esports at the college level versus traditional sports is the kids themselves tend to be better students. I don't want to say so much better students. They tend to be more focused on academics.
Okay, sure, that makes sense.
A survey done in the U.S. last year showed that 51% of collegiate esports athletes in America are majored in the STEM majors: science, technology, engineering, and math. Kind of makes sense, right?
Sure, of course.
There are people that
makes
study
sense.
computer science, math, technology. The link between technology and esports is kind of clear, right?
Of course. Because they're probably building their own PCs and they're doing all this technical sort of stuff, right? Yeah.
So for kids that are into, let's say, tech-related things, they like to program software. They like to write software. They like to do things. They're science-focused kids. You probably find maybe a number of them would be interested in computer games as opposed to playing basketball, let's say, or soccer or something like that. So anyway,
I think it's a great equalizer as well because let's say I'm going to play basketball with Jordan, no chance. But if you sit there and you're playing video game, but if you're sitting there, I can practice my basketball all day, but I'm not catching them. You know what I mean? But a video game.
Right.
I remember when I was in college, we used to play the Street Fighter game, and I was pretty good at it. And I was kind of whooping people, and I had one of my buddies who I would just always beat, and we had it on Super Nintendo, and I just always beat him, and he just disappeared for a week, and I was like, I haven't seen him for a while, and I saw him again, and he just bags under his eyes. He's like, "Hey, what's up?" I'm like, where you been? I haven't seen you for a long time. He's like, let's play Street Fighter.
He didn't practice it.
And I'm like, dude, come on, man. You know what happens when we play Street Fighter? He's like, let's play Street Fighter. I'm like, all right. So I'd go in and he destroyed me. It was like, he sat there playing Street Fighter for a week. Didn't go to class. He didn't do anything.
Right.
And he just like, the level was like, I was here, he was here. And then it was like, I couldn't even do anything. But he just sat there playing this game. And it's crazy. I mean, obviously back in the day, you're not making any money playing video games, but it was for pride. He was like, got you.
Yeah, there's a competitive aspect to it, and
sure,
now
sure.
they're filling arenas with 15,000 kids.
Some of the
going
sports
to live
here,
events,
they broadcast
right?
it live.
Yeah, they're live broadcast. They're giving away $1 million, multi-million-dollar prize purses. What's the difference between that and golf and tennis? And,
I agree. Yeah.
It's the same thing, and it's a huge equalizer, right?
I think so too.
There are a lot of kids that could play that competitively at the pro or the collegiate level, right? A lot of opportunity. Who are never going to be basketball players.
Yeah, for sure.
Never going to be NFL or major.
Yeah.
There's no way they could physically be limited to certain things, right?
Yeah.
But
look at the NBA.
There are opportunities in it. So it's a huge area of business, right? In America,
for sure.
At the collegiate level, are really, really paying attention to it and putting a big investment into it.
That's great.
So it's a great opportunity for kids, right?
I think it's good. And it's big. Is it big here as well? It's kind of growing here, right?
Big.
It's growing. It's big already? Yeah,
yes,
here?
it's already very
it's already
big.
here.
Acer Computer, we've got a little bit of a partnership with Acer in Taiwan.
Acer, okay.
So we work with Acer. They have a couple of products outside of their physical product, PCs and notebooks and all that. They have a thing called the Predator League.
Oh, I know the computer. It's like a super high-end gaming.
Yeah, they have a line
machine.
of computers called the Predator line.
Okay.
But they also have a league called the Predator League.
I didn't know that.
And that's competitive online gaming.
Okay. That's very cool.
Quite big.
Okay.
They do it in League of Legends, Dota 2. I think League of Legends and Dota 2 are the primary two games that they compete on.
Sounds
good.
But
that's a big regional. It's a global event for them.
Okay.
And they do. The finals were supposed to be this year in February in Manila with thousands of kids flying in for it.
Okay.
And COVID
of course, COVID
killed some of that stuff. But
yeah.
That's the kind of investment a lot of major companies are doing. They also have a social platform for gamers that they just launched that we interact with called Planet 9.
Okay.
And we're together with them sponsoring this month what they call the PUBG. It's the game called Players Unknown Battleground. PUBG, right?
Yeah, I know it. Yeah.
Okay, so it's a PUBG game for high school and collegiate players.
Okay.
Good players, not pros, but some might be semi-pro or near-pro level. And there's a major competition called the PUBG Campus Tournament. Starts October 24th.
Okay, wow.
And we're sponsoring that event.
Nice. Okay.
And then in November, we're going to, together with the city government, be hosting a live seminar in Banqiao at the Banqiao Stadium.
Okay.
And we're going to be doing seminars on collegiate opportunities for esports in America.
Okay.
We have a live broadcast with one of our good friends in America, who's the director of esports at University of California,
Fantastic.
Irvine.
Okay.
Yeah,
wow.
Mark Depp from the University of California is a good friend of ours.
Okay.
He's hoping we'll get some players to send off to University of California
of course.
sometime. But he's
Yeah.
also hugely active in development of esports in California at the high school level, and of course at UC Irvine, where he coaches. Right, he's the director of the UC Irvine Esports department and team. Anyway, so we've arranged for him to also do a live broadcast to talk about esports in America.
That's fantastic.
At colleges.
Yeah. Okay.
And again, so Acer's supporting this kind of activity. The government's gotten behind it.
Wow.
China, Guangzhou City and a number of major cities in China have also put government money into funding esports.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
China would. I mean, they have the numbers and they've got all the people. And
China's the largest gaming market in the world now. I mean, this is mostly people that are playing for fun, socially.
Yeah.
But
well,
again,
there's just so many people.
Again, for every, let's say, 10,000 social players you've got 500 competitive players.
Yeah.
Then you've got 3, 4, 5 professional players, right?
Sure.
They move up the ladder. Wow. So anyway, esports is a great opportunity for a lot of kids.
So I'm pretty interested in that. That's pretty cool. How could we develop something like that out here? Like, how can we start from something new for esports?
Yeah, well, I think there are already a number of programs that are going on, and most of it is a lot of the technology companies or software companies or even the game developers. So esports is very different let's say, talk about at the collegiate level that we deal with. Because in traditional sports, you've got the NCAA that governs most of the collegiate sports in America. You've got the NAIA, you've got Junior College Athletic Association too. But esports is not governed by them. There are other organizations that govern. But it's not as structured as the NCAA because to play NCAA sports, you have to be an amateur. You can't be a professional. But esports is different. So there are no governing bodies. There is one, but they're not as powerful as the NCAA. So kids can actually go to college in America, play esports, and still go out and earn money doing it. They can still play in pro.
That's pretty cool.
It's very cool for them, right?
Yeah, that is cool.
Right. So it means that the kid doesn't have to refuse going to college because he's made money before or he wants to be a pro.
Cool, I think.
Yeah. So they've got an opportunity in esports for the esports athletes. It doesn't exist for the traditional athletes.
Yeah. Because there's been so many barriers and so many rules and such a long process for the traditional way, but this is what I think. Esports is new.
Yeah.
So they're like, let's just do it. Try it out.
The big difference in esports, which is really interesting, is the NCAA can govern baseball, basketball, all these sports, because no one owns the rights to baseball or basketball. No one owns it. So they can walk in and set rules and just deal between them and the university, right? They can do that. But esports, those games are individually owned by private corporations, Riot Games, and various of these other games. They actually own the title. So if you wanted to do a tournament like we do together with Acer, we're doing with the PUBG game, they actually have to get the publisher, the game owner, to grant them the right to use the game to do an event.
Wow.
So you can't have an NCAA to go into the university and say, hey, look, I'm going to tell you how to run your League of Legends, Dota 2. You can't do that because you'd have to go back to the publisher to get their rights. So esports is in a whole different situation.
That's cool,
Yeah, especially at the collegiate level. So
sounds good.
It's good for the students, right? It's actually,
I think it's good, more opportunities.
There's more opportunity for the students. As you know what's going on in collegiate sports right now. There's been controversy for decades, even when I was young. Where the athletes, some of them, a lot of them, want to get paid.
Of course.
The colleges are making massive amounts of money. Right?
It makes sense, but it's a weird situation area because
right?
I mean, it's
and
tough.
as you know, last year was it sometime? I forget what month. California passed a law that said collegiate athletes in California, beginning in 2023, can sell and cash in on their likeness, image. They can do it. Basically, what it means is they can do advertising.
I actually saw a story where there was a American college kid, like football player or something, a quarterback or something, and he had like a YouTube channel. I mean, named after himself because that's him. And they shut him. They said you're going to get kicked. You have to get off the team
because he was getting money for it, right?
Because YouTube, right? Because everyone's watching, right? But the school was like, shut the channel down or you're off the team, right? It's crazy, and it's him. It's not as if I don't know. He didn't say like whatever the team's name was. It's his. It's just him. But it's his likeness, and I guess they own that.
So that's what they did. So what happened was, the NCAA has been pressured for years to pay the athletes or to let them share, let them use their likeness to do something. And they've always backed off from it, by stating, of course, that if you're a collegiate athlete, you're an amateur. You're not here to make money. You're here for an education, and we help you. And they do. There are a lot of ways that they've helped athletes. But now the money's become so big, especially again in football and basketball, the two major sports. They're getting huge pressure. So what happened was California, basically, given the size, given the number of top universities, given the number of top athletes, said they were just going to go ahead and pass a law saying that athletes can make money off their likeness, which in a way forces the NCAA. Because come 2023, if you're an athlete in California, you can legally go and make money by doing Nike ads and all of that. And the NCAA can't do anything about it. So it kind of forces the NCAA then to go back and actually, and they are doing that right now, review. Okay, now we're going to review it. So by 2023, they'll do something. Yeah. So, and there was the NAIA recently, the National Association of Intercollegiate Athletics, who governs other universities, not the NCAA level. They also passed the same law.
Okay.
So it's kind of like
good.
a done
so
deal.
It's getting there. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, but it
it's
isn't
a done deal.
salary. It isn't as though all
they
the
just
players
have
on the
rights to
team
make it.
are gonna. You're right. They got a right to do that.
They still got to go out and hustle, try to find a sponsor, have a YouTube channel.
Yes.
Have an event. Yeah. Okay.
So it's opening up, and there might be a day where collegiate athletes are paid just like pros.
It's possible. Yeah.
It's possible,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, it could happen.
Let's grab
Good
one
for
of
the
these,
athletes.
man, and we keep going. Yeah, I love that.
Okay, you're drum this time.
I'm
I'll
on
do
drum. I'm on drum duty. All right.
What's this one?
This is made with fresh jalapenos. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So
cool.
a lot of them. So enjoy.
Oh, a lot of them. Okay. Oh, that's good. We really taste the jalapeno.
Should we get a couple more beers or what? Yeah.
Yeah, I could do another one.
We have number one. Joe, can you send 2 discos? Thanks. Spicier?
No, spicy.
Spicier,
Yeah,
right?
now it's going up.
It's coming. It's coming.
Yeah.
So the potential is obviously quite big with esports, yeah? And you see Taiwan growing this as well.
I think
Yeah?
so. You know, they are.
Yeah?
There are already high school esports leagues here,
Okay.
collegiate esports leagues.
Okay.
Wow, the heat's kicking in now.
Yeah, it's coming. Right? It's coming. It's
Little
coming.
delayed
yeah.
reaction there.
There you go. Sure, sure. Well, we got the milk. We got the horchata. We got some beer on the way.
Oh, we got a horchata too, right?
Yeah,
oh,
yeah.
cool.
Just give it a
I like
stir.
that.
Yeah. The ice is melted and sitting on the top.
Yeah, so Taiwan is already, as the States is doing, and a number of other countries, organizing high school leagues, collegiate leagues, and of course, pro. Pro's always been there, right? So it's getting developed.
Okay.
It's happening more and more.
I remember as a kid, my mom, no one's going to pay to play video games, you know? Right?
Yeah.
Now it's like, damn. Funny.
Yeah, it's funny, actually. I saw a cartoon, like Farside or one of these cartoons, old cartoon from 80s or something like that. It was a mom and dad dreaming while they're watching a kid game about, if he could ever make money doing this, or if there was a future in this, you know. It's actually come true now, right?
I think that, I think technology has really been amazing for the planet, really. I mean, I think something like esports it's fun, and I mean, even just playing video games is fun, you know? Like, I don't know,
Yeah.
I think it's a good opportunity, and anything that's going to be good for education and stuff like that's great, man. I think it's fantastic.
You know, that's the thing that we try to bring to the table, especially in the relationship with Acer, and some of the things that we do to the parents, ultimately to the parents, is that there's an educational opportunity and link esports and your child's college career.
Yeah,
and
sure.
We've started already. We've actually already acquired esports clients.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
I love that.
And, you know, when we sit down and we meet with the parents, of course, the parents, all they know is their kid games and, the kids on the computer, that's all they know, and they're worried about that, right?
Of course,
Especially the kids that come from families that are probably more inclined to go to college and interested in higher education.
Kids on the computer all day, right? Yeah,
kids on the computer all the day.
Yeah.
And then when we sat down with the parents, we talked about esports and collegiate opportunities to play and scholarships.
First of all, it's hard. You can't
They're
fight
so
it.
amazed.
What are you going to do? Yeah.
They're so amazed that even exists.
Yeah, well, for sure. It's definitely new, and I mean, especially here where everybody's like, I think, I don't know the exact numbers, but every single person I know has a BA. You know what I mean? Like every single person finishes high school. Every single person finishes university. You know, like everyone that I know has a BA.
That was good. High education
which is great,
standards,
really high.
right?
I would imagine, right?
Yeah.
So for them to be like, video games, I think it's good, and I think the parents definitely would freak out in the beginning, but people just need to know, right? They just need to know that there's opportunity.
So that's what's interesting in the field. Again, we're not looking to represent pro players or create pro teams.
Sure, no,
we do nothing at the pro level. You know, we're at the level below that, which is college.
Yeah, but that's okay. Yeah.
And there's more and more opportunity for these kids to bring that talent to the collegiate level.
That's great.
And that could be either playing on the college team, or they're also, in addition to the varsity, college organized team with coaches and scholarships and money,
sure.
there are also a number of universities, thousands of universities in America, that have club teams. So when esports started in college in America, quite a number of years ago actually, it started by the kids, the students themselves, organizing into teams.
Like a club.
Sure. Right. So actually there's
Instead of a chess club, it's an esports club, right?
Yeah. And then, of course, now because the games are online, to set up and hook up and have, you can play with anybody. You don't need a stadium.
Yeah.
You don't need an arena. You don't need a baseball field, a pitch.
Yeah.
So there are organizations, there's the Collegiate Star League, and a number of other organizations that are actually made up of college club esports teams. Now that's sort of a notch below.
Can you get one more water too, please? Thank you.
Yeah, that'd be good. Thanks.
Thank you.
The club teams are sort of a notch below the varsity team.
Okay.
But, it's a great opportunity for the kids. They can compete.
It's like the farm leagues, right? Yeah.
Yeah, in a way, it's like a farm league,
it's like a farm league, right? Yeah.
Right now, just to sort of compare the size, there are probably about 200, a little over 200 colleges in America with varsity esports teams.
200?
200.
Wow, that's more than I thought, to be honest.
Yeah. Including, some top schools, University of California, Irvine, Ohio State I was mentioning. There's a number of top universities that have it. A lot of small colleges too. But anyway, and everything from NCAA D1, D2, all the way down to junior colleges, right?
Sounds
so there's a good variety.
Okay, yeah.
But you compare that to baseball. As I was saying, there's 1,600 colleges that have baseball teams.
Yeah.
Same sort of numbers if you talk tennis and golf and all these other sports.
Football and all that. Forget
football's
about
huge.
It, right?
So it's much, much smaller than the traditional sports, but growing much faster than the others. In fact, with COVID, this year, a number of colleges have canceled some sports programs, right?
Okay, yeah.
Usually minor ones.
Yeah.
Like they canceled out their rowing team or yachting team.
Okay, sure.
I don't want to make them sound like they're
minor.
minor.
Sure.
They haven't. Most of them haven't been, of course, closing the basketball team.
Yeah, well, of course,
football teams and others, but
the income, the guys that bring the money, the
fencing,
incomers, right? They come,
some of the other sports
makes sense. Yeah,
that are not as well financed.
Sure.
Right?
Okay,
but on the flip side, thank you, is esports growing, right? Actually, more and more collegiate esports teams.
I also read that. I mean, things are changing all over because places with like offices, like let's say Google or whatever, they're realizing people can do that job from home.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean?
Right,
so it's like, I mean, people can. All you need is your laptop and some Wi-Fi, and you could play esports. You could have a team practice where you don't really have to physically get 20 or 30 people in one area.
And that's what happened with COVID hitting, in esports. Whereas a lot of the events are held in the big stadiums with 10,000 kids all together and all this kind of stuff. They easily were able to transition to fully online and didn't miss a beat. In fact, grew.
Yeah. I would imagine they grew
more venture capital money going into esports during the whole COVID crisis. Events and prize money and all this did not dip like some other sports did, right? Baseball season in America being cut down to 60-game season only this year for Major League Baseball, things like that. Esports didn't suffer at all.
Yeah, wow,
that's quite amazing, right?
Course.
Because they were already online mostly.
Yeah,
it's amazing, right? They were just positioned well for a pandemic.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And I think, I mean, it's going to be a new world after the whole. I mean, the pandemic, if it ever goes away, I mean, eventually the world will open up again, right? But it's, I think it'll be different. I don't think it's going to be the same, right?
Yeah, there's going to be some sort of long-term
different,
changes, definitely going on.
Incredible, man.
Well, hopefully the colleges all get back to the sports seasons.
Yeah, of course, that for sure, because that's such a big part of the colleges, and also it's the entertainment, and everybody loves that. I mean, everybody loves to watch a college football or college basketball or whatever.
It's a big part of the culture.
College basketball, I mean, like, even for somebody like me that doesn't watch much basketball, if there's like March Madness, like it's a very rare
they're into
thing.
The teams, right?
They're into it.
Brazil, like they want to see Brazil play.
Ronaldo and Ronaldinho.
I found that really interesting.
Wow. It's crazy. There's very few things that that happen like that. Like the star power will bring people in. World Cup is I think it's another level because it's really the world.
Well, it's interesting. When I first came to Taiwan, years ago, and Taiwan didn't have the pro baseball league then.
Okay.
But was highly developed in Little League, right?
Sure.
Again, America.
Yeah.
I still remember meeting people who had stayed up all night watching live the Little League World Series from Pennsylvania in the United States.
Really?
Yeah, they were tired the next day, and they're saying, "Oh yeah, we're up all night. What are you doing? Watching the Little League World Series."
Incredible.
I knew about it and all that, but I wasn't.
Yeah, of
you
course.
got Major League Baseball, you've got all that in America. That you watch that,
sure.
right? But they were staying up all night to watch Little League Baseball.
I think with America's got the funding that almost every sport, America's going to compete. Even soccer now,
even soccer's big now.
I remember when I grew up, my family's Mexican, so even when Mexico would play Canada, it's a gimme. Mexico plays Canada. It's basically a gimme. Mexico's gonna, put their C league on, their C team on, and win. And U.S. was a gimme. But now it's like 50-50.
Hey, the women.
Oh, the women.
Well,
the women's U.S.
thing,
is
right?
always of course, different thing. But I mean, like the men would always be a gimme. So Mexico's gonna beat them. But now it's like 3 times. Mexico wins one, maybe U.S. wins one, maybe a tie. It's good.
Yeah.
They've caught up
they come a
to
long
the rest
way,
of the world,
right.
I think.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think they're going to win the World Cup right now, but Mexico hasn't won the World Cup either. I just think they're looking good, man. They're looking good. So.
And again, when we talk about collegiate athletes, again, if a kid's a serious soccer player, and we always use the term soccer instead of football simply because that's what the Americans use. So, we're talking, online and all that drop-down menu is what sport do you play? It's soccer, right? That's
soccer,
what the American coaches are
Michael
using.
Chandler doesn't like that,
Yeah.
but it's okay.
But I mean, if you're serious, you can join some of the European clubs.
Of course you can.
You can go off as a kid. You can get into that system, into that program.
Yeah, of course.
But if you want to go to college, you want to get an education, America still, although it's not the best soccer in the world, that's still the way to go.
But to be honest, it's looking good though, man. The MLS is doing well. I mean, it's competing somewhat with the Mexican League, and the Mexican League's like I don't know how many 100 years old. It's like that's Mexico's
old?
thing. It's
like
old. I mean,
more
it's
than
Mexico.
100 years
That's
old?
what Mexico. I mean, it's part of the. It's like Brazil, just not quite the same level, right?
Yeah.
It's part of the culture. It's everyone plays.
Funny
that.
how it never really came across the border so long ago.
It's
right?
weird, it's weird. But now the States is catching up, and I think doing quite well, man. So kudos to them,
so interesting, right? For us, again, the college level for soccer, there's scholarships, there's opportunity.
I didn't think that a Taiwanese kid would go for a scholarship. That's incredible. That's pretty.
Yeah,
amazing,
I mean, he had maybe a little bit of a boost in that. First of all, he had good training here in Taiwan.
Sure, of course.
Before,
Sure.
And then he played 3 years of high school in America.
Beautiful. I love that.
That helps, right?
Yeah, of course.
Helps on the academic side, his English side, and all of that. But he is a good player.
Yeah,
he trained well and worked hard. And,
well, I always found that the kids that listen more, they improve the fastest, right? Yeah. Sometimes when a kid is almost too good for his own good. He don't want to listen to you because he knows everything, right? It's tough, I always found coaching the girls a little bit easier because the girls are like, okay, they're down to listen, but if a boy is good, in my experience, he's almost too good for his own good. It's tough. It's tougher, But not all, but it can happen, sure. For sure.
Yeah, attitude's a big part of it, especially for the better player, right?
Life, anything. I mean, like I can have someone come and work in my kitchen and have no experience and have nothing to do with the restaurant business, but if the attitude's good, they learn everything fast. They ask questions, and I'll show them whatever. It's fantastic. But I've had chefs that are way more I won't say successful, but like reputable chefs, like higher level chefs than myself. They come in, they don't want to listen to me. I'm like, no, okay, this is how we do it. They're like, no, we should do this. I'm like, no, this is my recipes. This is my family. I mean, I know that maybe you are fantastic Japanese sushi chef, but tacos, that's something else, right? Whereas, on the flip side, if I went into a Japanese restaurant and I can't go in there and be like, shh, I got the red rice and the tacos, burritos, nachos. So I know sushi. No, I don't. It's not related. I mean, the only relation is it's food. That's it. I mean, it's a completely different thing, right? So attitude's the best in life. And I think with a sport, teaching a good attitude is one of the best things a kid can learn. It's incredible. Yes. I think.
It's very, very important.
Yeah.
And that's problem for some of the kids in the States. They do have that kind of problem. Maybe they're too good.
That happens.
It happens, right? Some of the kids are too good.
Yeah.
or they're just tired of playing and all that, right?
Yeah, that happens. Sometimes you get burned out for sure.
Yeah,
for
I
sure.
see that happen with the kids here again in
Yeah.
the baseball programs. Again, like
Yeah,
my
of
son
course.
plays in because we're intimately in
Loves
that
it.
little
Yeah.
society,
You gotta
right?
love it. Yeah.
You know, there are, as I said earlier, right? There's a number of kids that get burned out. It's because they play 5 to 7 days a week, almost year round.
That's
right.
tough. Yeah, I mean that'll burn anyone out. Yeah,
That's tough, right? That's not easy. So again, that's why with my son's continued interest in it, I thought, okay,
That's important,
and he's been playing well and all of that. That he has an opportunity, right, to continue in that.
Agree.
Partly based on the attitude, which is he loves
important. Again, like
doing
what I
it
said,
and
it's
wants
the most
to
important
learn.
thing.
We've had a guy who actually works also together with our company from Taiwan, Joe Shu. Joe played for the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Okay, wow.
So he was actually, talk about a baseball player, he was recruited out of high school in Taiwan.
Oh, wow.
And brought over to the minor league, right, team for Pittsburgh Pirates.
Okay.
So he played over there, right? But anyway, he's come back. Then he came back to Taiwan and for education, right? He came back, actually got his bachelor's degree in Taiwan.
Okay.
Got a certified strength and conditioning coach certification
Okay,
and other
okay.
things. He's been working for Major League Baseball in China.
Okay.
Major League Baseball has training camps in China.
Okay,
right?
sure.
Facilities there.
Okay.
And anyway, so now he's come back to Taiwan. He works together with us now.
Beauty,
But he's also
beauty.
been working with my son. So my son
That's
is
fantastic,
interested to even
yeah.
take classes outside of the program he's in.
See, that's something special. Yeah, that means that he's got the passion and he's into it. He hasn't been forced. I mean, that's a pretty good
and
sign.
I never forced
Very
him
good
to
sign.
do that,
Yeah,
right?
no,
He
it's
wants
great.
to.
Yeah.
All right, there's a lot of dads do kind of force the kids,
yeah, sure,
right?
Sure, yeah. Yeah, like I mean, I put my daughter, I coach and I take her to soccer and stuff, and she didn't really like it, so I just said, all right, well,
Yeah.
don't come
That's too
then.
bad,
It's like don't come, yeah, because I mean,
well.
all the kids that I coach.
Time to have another kid.
Yeah, maybe I think so. Yeah, because all the kids that I coach, all their families, like, oh my God, you have a kid. She's gonna be like Ronaldo. I'm like, well, she could be, because we could be playing all day, every day, if she liked it.
Right.
But she doesn't really like it. At least she likes her Brazilian jiu-jitsu though,
There
so
you
that's
go.
okay.
That's good.
1 out of 2, it's okay. She likes
Kids need
that.
to have something, right?
I think she needs. I think they need to have something that they can
Right.
fall back on, and if she can defend herself, I think it's okay. Yeah, I think it's a good.
Yeah, that's
thing.
good too,
It's
right?
very good too. Yeah, it's like a double whammy. That
For
one, yeah.
colleges, I think as a lot of people generally know, right?
Yeah.
When you make an application to colleges, especially American colleges, in addition to your academics, let's say if you're not being recruited as a student athlete,
Okay.
by the coach, on your application to college, they're going to ask you about your experiences, your extracurricular activities. That's very important.
It's very important.
If it's jiu-jitsu,
if you've got a
or
black
it's
belt in jiu-jitsu,
piano,
like,
or
yeah,
it's,
it can be anything.
it could be anything.
It can be like
Yeah.
something that proves that you stuck with something.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
you stuck with
And
it.
what did you learn from it?
Yeah,
That's the other thing they
exactly.
want to know. What did
Yeah.
you learn from doing
Okay.
that? Especially if you played baseball or you played soccer.
Sure,
A
agree.
team sport.
Teamwork, camaraderie, helping out your,
Yeah. It's
I
all
agree.
part of maturity and other things, and that's what the universities are looking for. So even kids who have a sports background, they've been playing sports, let's say we meet them, they're interested to go to college, maybe they're not quite good enough to get on a team at the
Okay.
college level they want to go to.
Okay.
But maybe they could get on to a smaller college team, but maybe they don't want to go to that level school. They want to go to a little better school.
Okay.
They're academically
Sure.
qualified.
Sure.
Even though they may not be recruitable to the college team, the fact that they participated in the sports and as part of their life experience, that's going to strengthen their application to the college and help them to get into the college. So that's
gotta show them
that's
that
the
they-
message we give to the parents.
I
still.
agree. Yeah,
Is
that's
As
beautiful,
the
yeah.
athletics is going to help the child, not just physically.
For sure. Healthy
Right.
body, healthy mind. They got to have something that they really like.
And
not just like
healthy for college. It's going to help
Yeah.
them get into
It's gonna help.
college.
Yeah. I never even
Right?
thought about that, but that's just
Yeah,
true.
it really matters,
Yeah,
right?
I would imagine so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, here too, when someone's applying for a job and what do you like to do? Nothing. Like, have you ever, do you have any chores or do you have any experience? No. Okay, you know what I mean? It's like,
That reminds me of years ago when I
it's
was
like,
interviewing
okay, yeah,
people
sure.
for jobs and
we
all
get
that.
that all the time. Yeah.
You still get that, do you?
Oh yeah,
Okay.
sure, we sure do. I still
I just remember
not,
that from
not
years
so much
ago.
anymore, but we get the point where moms will bring their kids in. They're like 18 and 16 and 20-year-old kids in and be like, oh, he's really good at this. He's very clean. He's just pumping up the kid, and the kids just like you were saying, or this kid's just but and then you try to talk to the kid, and the kid has nothing to say, right? The kid doesn't even want to talk, right? Like it's
that's another problem for some of the kids, the student athletes out here. It's not only just the English communication with coaches in America, but because the coaches in America, they like to, okay, we can help to introduce you, communicate, but they still somewhere in that process want to talk to the kid.
Some kind of a personality is important.
There's got to be something.
Something, yeah. It's not like, I don't know.
But we coach them to do that.
Of course.
We had one of our golfers who has now gone off. Actually, he's here because the classes are online, but he got accepted to Purdue.
Wow.
And but during that process, he was targeted. He was looking at UC schools, University of California schools. Okay. He got interested in Purdue, and then he got an inquiry from Columbia. Someone introduced him to somebody, and he got an interview with Columbia. Okay. So what we did is we prepped him for the interview. Okay. Because again, he's got to shine in an Ivy League college interview. That was just over the phone and everything, but. We helped them to prepare for that. And we do that, and it's even more important with our really hardcore athletes.
I think it's very important.
Because they tend to be quiet, right? They tend to be reserved.
Sure. Yeah, I agree. I think some kind of a personality definitely helps. Yeah.
Help them ask the right questions. Like, one of the things we want to talk to the coaches about in America is what support program do you have in place for our student if he goes to your college to help him with his academics, because his English isn't perfect.
Yeah, of course.
And he's going to need help on the academic. Do you have a support mechanism for him? It's a very legitimate question. And I tell you, all the coaches will come back and they'll answer it, and they all have something in place. We have this program, we have study hall for the kids, we have tutors that are available if he needs help. Basically, putting our mind and the kid's mind and the family's mind at ease.
Sure. Because
the coach in the college is going to support him while he's there.
Yeah, because
the parents still going to worry.
Yeah, of course. That's never going to go away. But somewhere safe. The kid, good attitude. If he needs help, there's help.
Yes. Yeah. So that's good for the parents, but it's good. Cheers. I'll grab my beer. It's good. It's a total win-win-win for everyone.
Yeah, I think that's great. I think that's a fantastic thing what you guys are doing.
We want the children to be able to ask that question of the coach if we didn't ask it already.
Yeah.
Because that shows interest, right? It's like he's also interviewing the college.
Yeah, of course.
You have what I want too.
Yeah.
Right? If you're interested in me as
like
an
a job
athlete,
interview, right? Yeah.
It also helps us in negotiating scholarship money too.
Okay, yeah, of course. Yeah.
Right? If the coach knows that he has options, and it is a superior athlete that a number of universities is looking at. Let's
grab one of the final two. Yeah, let's grab you on the drum.
Getting scary. That last one kind of stuck with me.
It was getting there. It takes a little while.
Yeah.
You want to do I'll do the drum, or you want to
do the drum? I'll do the wing this time.
Okay, so you do the final drum. All right, there you go.
Okay, yeah. The killer. I get to do the
saving me on that one.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Okay. Now, what's this one?
It's like a habanero ghost.
Oh my God!
It's a bit of a mix. Yeah. It's a bit of a mix. I'm gonna zoom up on you on that one though. There you go.
Hasn't kicked in yet, but
scorpion
I know
pepper.
Oh man, those are really
rough. Yeah,
killers. Mm-hmm. Scorpion and ghost and all these things, aren't those like the high Scoville?
Yeah, very high Scoville. Yeah. Whoa. No problem.
It still hasn't kicked in yet.
Really? Wow.
No.
Okay.
I know it's going to.
Yeah.
It's starting to kick in now.
There you go.
Yeah.
Damn. Okay.
Not bad yet.
How you doing, man?
Interrupting. Just want to say hi.
Hey, how are you?
Interrupting.
Cheers.
Hi. Yeah, sure. Thanks for coming, man.
Cheers.
That one's not too spicy, really? No, not quite.
It's kicking in more and more.
It's getting there. Okay.
Right.
Good, going well. Yeah. All right. Right on. You get some wings? You get some spicy ones?
I tried the one with 7. It's not too strong, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, keep going. Yeah.
I will tell you tomorrow how it's like. So you always know the day after.
The day after is a little rough. I'll be honest.
The day after.
Yeah. Just recommend.
Oh, now it's kicking in.
There you go. Today you only have like 3.
Wow. And now my eyes are watering.
Yeah. One of the tips is don't touch your eyes. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
What helps is you continue to eat other foods. That helps.
Yeah, we're not.
Don't
Whoa.
cry.
So,
Yeah, now I'm watering.
Okay, there we go. Yeah. Just careful
Hey,
with
Jim.
the eyeballs. Yeah.
No.
Ooh, that one. I got a big
Whoa.
ass girl.
I think that's the spiciest thing I've ever eaten.
Really? Okay.
I think so.
Jeez. Well, we're about to trumpet in about
Whoa.
10 minutes here. Yeah. Do you eat spicy much usually on a regular basis?
Yeah, I mean, we eat a lot of Chinese food. So Sichuan, Hunan, that kind of spice level, pretty
I
common.
love that stuff, like mala huoguo and
Yeah.
that stuff. I love that. Yeah.
Gongbao Jiding and
Gongbao Jiding.
all the
Oh God, I got a
classics.
great Gongbao Jiding story. So I went in with my wife. We went. I can't remember. It was a small town. Went into this small town and we went to this Kuai Chao Dian, and Ru Chao, and they're just like, I walk in and there's not many foreigners in this area, I guess, but I walk in with my wife and they're like, oh hey, you're gonna love it here. We got Gongbao Jiding.
Uh-huh. There's all the foreigners like that.
That's
Right?
the first thing they said to me. Oh,
Yeah.
they Gongbao Jiding. We got Gongbao Jiding. We got Gongbao Jiding. And I'm like, well, what do you mean? She's like, well, you're a foreigner. Foreigners like Gongbao Jiding. We've got Gongbao Jiding. And I'm like, you know what? We're not all the same. I'm from Mexico. And I'm telling her my history, and we're chatting, and everything's cool. And she's like, okay, no problem. Okay, what would you like to eat? And I'm like, Gongbao Jiding. Make it two. I love it.
Right?
I love it too. Yeah.
It's good. It's kind of a
I do love
overused classic, but it is good,
Oh,
right?
but it's delicious. Yeah,
It is.
I mean, a good one is incredible. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Even a mediocre one is still good. It's still decent. Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of those things I don't think you could do poorly, right?
How was that one?
Wow,
Yeah.
that is lingering. My lips are burning now.
They
And
do
that
that.
had what peppers do you have in that?
That had like habanero, chocolate habanero, and like scorpion. Yeah.
Oh, scorpions are
Scorpion's
killer
rough.
too, man.
Scorpion's a rough one. Yeah.
From what I've seen when I looked at the scale, and
Well, you can feel the scale today.
And we're going to
tomorrow.
move up to another level with the next one?
There is one a little bit higher. Yeah.
Is that right? Holy crap. I need a break here.
Yeah, we'll just relax a sec. Yeah.
Then what do we have? A glass of milk too?
Yeah, milk helps. Milk helps.
Milk actually does help, right?
It does help. Yeah.
I think the word is that water really doesn't do anything, right?
Not really. No. Yeah. The ones that I make, like this one,
Uh-huh.
when I make them, that one sells. We bottle, and everybody loves that.
Oh, you bottle that one too?
We bottle that one. These two we bottle,
Uh-huh.
and they sell really well. People love them. And when I'm making them, I'm just like, oh my god, this is crazy.
You gotta wear goggles, I would think, when you're making that stuff, right?
Yeah, I made it one time with Carolina Reapers. We were able to get some
I've
Carolina
heard of it.
Reapers.
Yeah, it's another. Isn't that like almost
That's even
the
hotter.
highest?
That's the highest.
Yeah.
That was rough. Yeah. Yeah, the Carolina Reapers. So basically, I always I don't use gloves. I just cut peppers, whatever. I've been doing it my whole life. Never had a problem. Jalapeno, even scorpion, even habanero, no problem.
You don't use gloves, huh?
No,
Even
I
with
never
those,
use gloves.
huh?
No, I never did. But, I got to using Carolina Reapers. I don't eat gloves. And I had this big pot, and I was washing them with my arm, the other arm. Then I got to clean them all up, cut them up, and then cook the sauce. That night when I went home, I took a shower, hot shower, and my forearms were burning.
Oh my god!
Like both of my arms were burning, and I had to sleep with ice packs on my arms like that. It was crazy.
How did it get all the way up your arms?
Because we had when we make sauce, we make a big batch, so we had like a big pot. So I was washing them. Like I don't want to wash them one at a time. Put them in a big pot. And I was kind of just had my arm in there stirring and rinsing them off.
Oh, you had your arm in that thing. Oh man!
I mean, because it never happened before. But oh my gosh, I had arms burning for.
Where are you getting all these locally? They're growing all these things, huh?
Not very much. So when somebody has them, we basically clean them out. And sometimes we have to just freeze them because that's the only way.
Yeah.
Ideally, you can get them fresh all the time from the market, but it's not possible here.
And I remember years ago you couldn't find any
Couldn't
of
find
these
anything.
things. Like jalapenos
are
right?
still hard. Jalapenos are still hard.
It's still hard. Why?
Still hard.
Because climate, growing them here is tough.
Down south they grow better, but up here we've had some chili guys try to grow them for us, and they grow slow, and typhoons wipe them out, and they just habaneros grow well, I guess, though, up here for some reason.
It's funny because when I've gone, I like to cook too, right? So I mentioned up at our house up in the mountains, right? I have my own herb farm, right?
Yeah.
So basic herbs, chives,
Sure, nice.
basil and rosemary, a bunch of things that I grow. But so we quite often go to the Jingle Huasa, right? The flower market, these places, to buy herbs and seeds and things.
Yep.
A number of times I've seen the chocolate. Is it chocolate habanero? What's the chocolate one? Chocolate habanero?
Chocolate habanero, yeah.
I see that for quite a number of years.
Yeah, so those are
Many years
good.
you'd never see anything like that.
Those are hot too. Yeah, those are probably the hottest habaneros, I think. So use sparingly, right? But they're good.
Oh,
they're
I don't even use those.
Okay,
my wife uses it.
You can
She
make
likes
them for
it.
like a big pot and just use like one, and it's gonna have some spice. Yeah. But I mean, for these, it's quite a bit. Yeah, it's like a kilo.
And you bottle that stuff too.
Yeah, we do bottle them. Yeah. It's like
Cool.
they're like.
I'm glad to hear people are buying it.
I mean,
That's
I think
good.
because it's a Mexican restaurant, people they want to have something a little bit spicy. They want to have something different. Before we did all that, I didn't think they would sell, and we didn't do them. And then we'd get like Texans or whatever. Mexican food's supposed to be spicy, so I'd always make them a special sauce.
Is that Texas
was just
Tom who
like-
said that?
Yeah, no,
You know this
no,
guy,
yeah,
Texas
yeah.
Tom, right?
Texas Tom, I do know Texas Tom well. Yeah.
I met him.
Did
I
you
met
meet
him.
Yeah.
Just a few months ago, I went up to see MFA guys, right? Master Football
Yeah, yeah.
Academy
Oh, sure.
guys,
Yeah.
up at their new pitch, right?
Yeah.
And
the
he
boys
was
are-
there.
Was he there?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay,
So
okay.
I'd seen him on the internet. And
Did you
never
try the
met him.
food? Any of his food? Yeah.
No, he didn't
Yeah,
have his
oh,
food
he had
there.
his
He was
food
just there
there.
talking
Okay,
to them about
okay.
I don't know, catering or doing something, right?
Okay. If you have a chance, try his food. His food's
good?
His food good. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I love barbecue, right?
I love it too. I love barbecue, and I grew up like barbecuing and grilling like Mexican style, but I never had like American like 18-hour brisket and
Smoked.
stuff like
That's
that.
it.
Like
Yeah, smoked.
That
Yeah.
is delicious.
Yeah, it's great stuff, right?
That is incredible.
Yeah.
And I had a friend that was really good at that, and he showed me. He's like, "I'll teach you," and he showed me the rub and the marinade and that. It was so much work. It was 18 hours.
Yeah.
We'd have to go out. Couldn't even really sleep because every few hours you'd have to go out and like flip
Feed
it
the beast
and
and-
just feed it, and it's crazy. And I'm like, this is crazy.
It's a real
and
passion
It's
for the
crazy,
guys that
yeah,
do it,
for
right?
sure.
Yeah.
And then when we had it, we he started cutting up the brisket. He's like, try that, and I was like, whoa,
Yeah.
that's incredible.
Stuff really falls apart.
It's
right?
really like, it's some next level stuff. I mean, I love barbecue, but that old low and slow American style, that is
It's
incredible.
it's
it's incredible.
Come here to Taiwan, right?
Yeah.
Especially in the early times, people,
Yeah.
of course, would say, "Oh, American food" or something. It's like, it's burger or it's some steak or something.
Yeah,
and
but
you don't know, food culture and all that. But there's
Yeah,
quite a bit of food culture.
Oh my gosh.
And barbecue
yeah,
is
for
one
sure.
of them.
Barbecue.
Cajun Creole is another one, which is very American.
And even Tex-Mex, right? Yeah. stuff like
Tex-Mex
that,
is
yeah.
too.
Sure,
Yes,
yeah,
it
yeah,
is.
yeah,
right?
for sure. Yeah.
But
yeah.
barbecue is really one
I
of
think
the.
barbecue is like it's the one because it's so good, but I don't know of any other. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but any other countries that are doing that low and slow brisket. Yeah, I mean the
don't know anyone else
states,
who
like
does it
Texas
like
and
that, right?
all the southern states have their own style or whatever. But outside the states, I don't know anybody that's doing that.
Yeah,
like
me
that's
too.
not American, right?
Yeah.
So I think it's so good too. I mean, I would like one day just to go and just eat. Like I want to try all the Mexican Tex-Mex stuff, but more than that, I want to do the barbecue because Texas Tom's got great barbecue. A friend of mine, Kevin,
I know
Baba
Kevin really well. Yeah, I
Baba
like
Kevin's
Kevin's
food
stuff.
is fantastic.
Yeah.
I love it. Actually, I'm due. I think maybe tomorrow or Friday, I'll swing down and grab a bunch of brisket for lunch. And it's funny because my daughter, she's born and raised here, but she eats Mexican every day. She loves Indian and she loves like slow smoked brisket. That's what she likes. That's what
great.
she likes. So
That's good.
I remember picking her up, 5 years old, from her kindergarten, right? And I mean, like, I'm like, how was school? She's like, Food was awful, so I didn't eat. I'm hungry. I'm like, okay, what do you want to eat? And she's this 5-year-old little girl. She's like, well, you got 4 choices. I'm like, all right, what do you want? She's like, we can have fish tacos at the shop, or enchiladas at the shop, or we can go down the street and get butter chicken, or we got to go get some brisket, some smoked brisket. And I'm like, those are my choices? And she's like, yeah. And I'm like, brisket, fish tacos, butter chicken. I'm just like, geez. This is a 5-year-old. And you have like the traditional like kindergartens where they're just kind of like throwing all the slop in there. And it's fine because they have to feed 10,000 kids, right? It's fine. But she'd be like, no, I'm not going to eat that. And she just won't eat it. And she'll be like, no, I want butter chicken, or I want this, or I want that. And I think that, that's what she wants. It's crazy.
It's great. She knows good food. She got a palate, right?
That's
you
what she
developed her palate,
loves.
right?
She loves that.
It's important.
So sometimes when someone brings out, like you go to a wedding or something, and sometimes wedding food is not the best, she'll be like, yeah, I'm not going to eat that. Hey, you got, I'm like, just pretend.
She's a food snob already,
She's a
right?
food snob at 5 years old. She's 8 now. She's getting a little bit better. She's eating the school lunches. I'm like, look, you have to try. So she's getting better. But at 5, she'd be like, no. Because at 5, she didn't really, she just started to go to school, but she's basically with me all the time. It's like, the bacon that we get is, there's a guy called, there's a company called Cedar's Farm. They're up in the mountains.
Yeah,
Cedar's. Jason
yeah,
Cedar's.
I buy from him too.
Yeah, and his bacon's probably the best I've ever had.
Yeah, it's a good.
Not even like
right?
including Canada and whatever. The bacon's fantastic.
Yeah, he's got good product.
It's really good. So we get bacon from him, and like that's what my daughter eats. So like we'll go to like a zaltan dian, and then she gets like a bacon. She's like, excuse me,
good, right?
Excuse me, what happened to your bacon? I'm like, just eat it, okay?
Yeah.
She's like, no, but this is not bacon. Like she's eating like Cedar's Farms bacon as opposed to like the super cheap, like breakfast shop. She's like, what happened to the bacon? I'm like, and another funny story about her, a bacon story. Before that, she wouldn't eat any food. Like she wouldn't eat any meat. She was all eating veg and carbs and everything. She wouldn't eat meat. I'm like, okay, I guess I'm raising a vegetarian. Okay, I guess I'm raising a vegetarian. And we went out to this pancake place, and I had, we had our pancakes, and she's eating them, and I had, bacon on the side. And she's like, "What's that?" And I'm like, "Oh, it's bacon." I'm like, you won't like it. It's bacon." And she's like, "Can I try it?" And she's like, she was probably 4. Hey, this guy. And I'm like, yeah. I'm like, here, try it. So she pulls this plate, has a little piece of bacon. And she's like, she pulls the whole plate over. One bacon here, one bacon. Doesn't even touch the pancakes. And she's like, until the bacon's gone.
There you go.
Turned her into a carnivore just off of bacon, off that one thing. It's crazy. Just like full bacon.
Man,
she loves
Jason's
it.
bacon's pretty darn good.
Oh, it's so good. It's so good. Yeah. I enjoy it. Like back home, you just get regular bacon or whatever. But after I've had his stuff, it's pretty. I don't think I've had better bacon.
Yeah,
It's
he knows
pretty
what he's doing.
It's
Right?
pretty incredible.
He's
I
a
love
proper
it.
chef, right?
Yeah.
Knows what he's doing.
They're up there. They're smoking. I don't know the process, but they must be smoking and curing or whatever.
Yeah,
They're
he's got to
from
cure it,
pork,
and then
yeah.
he smokes it.
So it's pretty.
I assume he smokes it. Right?
I would
Bakes it.
imagine. Yeah, it tastes pretty smoky. It's delicious. Yeah.
He does a good job. Yeah,
Very good.
there's a number of people like that now in Taiwan, right? That didn't exist years
coming
ago.
up. It's coming up.
Cheesemakers down at Taichung, right?
I went out to see him. We went out to learn some cheese. We went out there 2 or 3 years ago. And hey, see you, yeah. And I'm like, we're going to. I'm like, you got to teach me to make, the queso fresco, And so we went down. I brought 2 of my chefs. Oh my God, it was so much work. And I'm like, oh my God, we go through so much cheese. I pretty much have to hire a full time just to make queso fresco if I want to switch to that, because we go through so much cheese here, and it's like, ugh, it was delicious, but it's a labor of love, I think. It's pretty.
He really liked Henry, right?
Yeah,
Henry Young, right?
Henry's a great guy. Yeah,
Henry's a great guy. Him and his wife both, right? They run a pretty good
fantastic.
operation.
Yeah, I got a video. I should invite him up, man. I haven't seen him in a
you
long
should
time.
get him up. Come up on the show.
I'd like to get him up here. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get a lot of the food guy. I'm gonna get Jason Cedar on here.
You should get Jason up here. Get him up
Bob
there.
Kevin's coming on next month.
There's a guy in Tainan, a
Yeah.
Frenchman, who's curing meats.
I love it. This is
there's
what
a
it's
whole
about.
bunch
I
of
really
people
want to
like
share
that
these
now.
stories. Yeah. and food's a pretty big passion for me. So
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
You should get food
I will.
artisans.
Yeah,
and just
we're
get
trying.
a whole bunch
Yeah.
of these guys.
I got Bob and Kevin on next month. I've got a lot. I
There's
have
another cheesemaker I've never met here in Taipei.
Okay.
What's the name? You know, they're making they're making mozzarella also, but they also make burrata,
Oh wow.
which
Okay.
is nice, right?
I
They make
love it.
burrata. There's a champagne maker. There's a winemaker in Taiwan.
okay.
I've actually never had their wine, but supposedly it's not bad.
Really. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, I think there's a number of them. You could have a bunch of them.
That'd be fantastic. Yeah. Definitely. I mean, sometimes I'm sitting there and I'm just making this list, and it's cool because I think this is a great way to share some stories, man. Yeah. So,
Very good.
what do you
No,
think?
good fun.
Should we do that last one? Or,
I'm scared after that last
scared
one.
a little bit. Yeah. Well, you offered
Yeah, I
for the
thought I was doing
drumstick.
okay until that last
You did
one.
well, yeah.
It stuck with me for a while.
The last two are well. When you said
Yeah.
you weren't getting any feeling off that, I was like, wow.
Yeah, you know,
this guy's a beast.
It had a delayed reaction to it, and then
Yeah.
it really
Yeah.
hung around, and then it started
linger.
stinging. It's like it started coming out, right?
The linger
Coming out of
was-
my mouth.
the
Okay,
linger is
so
real.
am I wing or
You're on drumstick, dude.
Am I on drum?
think.
Oh,
yeah,
shoot.
yeah. That's all you.
So I get the big
Appreciate
piece,
it,
right?
Yeah.
Can I shake off some of this
Oh,
sauce?
I would too. Yeah. That's my
maybe we're
secret.
gonna do this.
That's
What is
how
this
I'm able to do it every week.
Oh, there we go.
This
See, I
is
did
pure
it.
scorpion. It's basically
Pure
like
scorpion.
pure scorpion. No
Okay.
onions and garlic. Nothing else to just. You know
Good.
what I
Maybe
mean?
we're nearing the end of the show. Just
Yeah,
to
this
get
is
that
the end of the
pass
show.
out.
Exactly. Yeah. This is actually made by a hot sauce guy who's got a little company called Flavor the World. American guy. Yeah. So he's got some really nice hot sauces. This is his he's super hot. It's pretty next level. Level.
No, I'm okay. I've got this. Thanks.
But yeah, man. Anyways.
Yeah. Cheers.
Cheers. Thanks
yeah,
for coming.
Thanks. Again, nothing.
Okay. Well.
But I know it's gonna come. Almost like a
It's like
cool,
almost
like a
paste.
cool flavor to it.
Yeah, it's good stuff too. I mean,
Wow.
they are.
But pure what?
It's basically pure scorpion.
Scorpion.
Yeah, pure. I mean, a little
I
bit.
know. Oh, now it's hitting. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's gonna get rough that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not.
Yeah, I'm
bad.
taking this one slowly, by the way.
Yeah, I would. I
Like
would
the other
too.
one, I kind of wolfed them down. I'm going for the milk.
That's tough too. Yeah, the milk. You need the milk on. I mean, I do.
I don't want to
I
fall
do.
off my chair.
Yeah. So you I went right down the wrong side there. So you mentioned your son Chris. He's been doing baseball
Right.
since he was grade 5, and next year he's looking at some colleges.
Yeah.
Right?
I'm from California, so
There he is, right there. Right. So we got three. I think we got 3 pictures of him. There we go.
yeah, there we go. So here he is
Yeah.
on the left when in junior high.
Okay.
At Xinpu Junior High School in
Good looking fella as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Ban Chao.
Yeah,
he's
okay.
about 5'10", so he's
Oh,
got
wow, he's tall too.
yeah,
Yeah.
not bad height. Okay,
Good.
Bit on the thin side, though. He's always trying to bulk up a little bit.
Well, I think
Strength is important, right?
that's Well, when you're young, it's tougher.
Yeah, it's very tough,
It's
right?
very tough. Yeah.
you know, given how much they exercise, they work out,
yeah, for
keep
sure.
calories on, or you know, to take in
And I
enough.
think at that age, you can eat, like 2 large pizzas at midnight, and you're not gaining any weight. It's crazy. Whereas that changes eventually.
Oh,
but,
man.
oh my god.
Oh, man.
Yeah. It changes eventually, but.
And on the right
at that
side
age, yeah.
is him playing last year in L.A.
Oh, nice.
in a college tryout.
How did he feel about playing there as opposed to playing here? I mean,
You know, it was a sort of a mixed
Okay.
reaction. You mean the quality of the play, or
I mean, yeah, I mean everything. I mean, I played my whole life in Canada. When I play here, it's definitely different.
Yeah.
When we went to Mexico and I'd play with Mexicans, it's definitely different. So I mean,
Yeah, I mean, he found the Americans to be a bit different, but not as different as he expected it to be.
That's okay then. Well,
Right.
then you trained.
I think
well.
because Taiwan follows American baseball so closely
Okay.
that there's probably a lot of connection between the two.
Okay.
Communication, as I mentioned earlier, was the one big difference, how they speak to each other and talk.
Sure.
So that was different.
Uh huh.
I think what surprised him was the level of the play. The event we went to, 2-day event, Saturday and Sunday, there were 240 kids from all over, mostly California,
Wow.
some Arizona, Washington, a few. And I think that he was surprised in that not all 240 were really good baseball players.
Okay. Well,
because it's kind
good.
of like a smattering of what you'd find at an American high
Sure.
school.
Yeah.
And you'd see, you'll get what you don't get in Taiwan. It's a 6'4", 6'5" high school kid who's a baseball player, usually a pitcher, right?
Yeah.
You see a bit of that. You see some of the kids that are 6'2", 220 pounds.
Yeah, that's
which you don't get in Taiwan much either, right?
Yeah, sure.
So you got some of that, but you also had, I was surprised to see a number of the players weren't nearly as good as him or nearly as good as the average Taiwan player.
Okay.
Because Taiwan ball primarily, because not every school has a team like America
And
does.
he's in the kind of like the hardcore program, right?
His team, Shoufeng that he goes to, is like top 8 of Taipei. Okay. In Taipei County, Xinbei, right?
Yeah.
So, that's pretty elite baseball in Taiwan. But
Yep.
most of baseball in Taiwan's elite ball.
Okay.
In that the kids who go there, they do that, they specialize in it. It isn't just like every high school in America's got a baseball team and everyone can play.
Yeah.
Right? So you've got
or I don't want to say worse, but even like I don't know what they're called, the league where you just pay and everyone plays and everyone gets the participation trophy at the end or whatever, and which is fun when you're fun for little leagues and stuff. It's okay, but I think if you want to go pro, you got to go more.
Yeah.
Is that what he wants? Does he?
if you
ideally,
asked
would he
him,
like to go pro? Yeah.
If you asked him,
okay. There's more money.
There, for sure.
There for sure.
Yeah, I mean, he
Okay.
very much follows Major League Baseball
Okay.
versus the Taiwan Pro Baseball
Sure.
League.
Okay.
I don't think just because Daddy's from the States,
Okay.
and we travel there and we go to games and things like that, but I just think, given that that's the pinnacle, right? It is the that's
of
premier
course,
baseball
of course.
in the world.
MLB, NBA. The States is
that's
the
the
pinnacle
top.
in most. Maybe not all sports, but a good percentage, right?
Good,
Yeah.
certainly not soccer.
Well, yeah. But I mean, they're catching up for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, and a few others. So if you asked him, he'd say, I would like to play pro baseball.
Beautiful.
But he knows the reality, which is the opportunity, the chance. Yeah, the percentages are very low.
And it's an essence of luck, as well, where somebody's kind of like sees him, like, hey, let's check it out, like it's some kind of a scout, like the Chicago Cubs scout just happens to be there that day.
Well, that's part of the thing that we do
Yeah.
for the kids. I
That's-
mean, you can
that's
sit
pretty
back, and the old thinking is, well, I'm so good they'll find me. That was
That's
never
tough.
true. It's certainly
Yeah.
not true today.
Well, yeah.
You have to really go out and find the opportunity, market yourself. You have
Sure.
to market yourself, right?
Sure.
So you need to go out and find that opportunity, and you can do that.
Yeah, I agree.
If you got the talent, right?
Yeah.
So it all comes down to talent.
And
Sooner
also,
or later, dedication.
marketability is good too, right? I mean, who was it? Jeremy Lin, right? I think he played NBA, and I think he was pretty good.
Yeah,
but
he did
also
quite well.
But everyone was like, oh, he's also like the only Asian guy. So then everyone's kind of like, hey, let's get behind this, and so it's also quite a good thing, right? So I can't remember. I don't watch much, but I think it was the Knicks, right? Where he was kind of doing super well. Yeah. So everybody was like, hey,
during the Linsanity.
yeah,
right?
Linsanity. That's what the word I was thinking of. Yeah, Linsanity. So it's good, and I mean, everybody loved him here, and I think it's great. I think it's fantastic. I think sports has always been a great thing for kids, and they don't necessarily have to go pro or anything, but it teaches them something from childhood, an attitude, like kind of a never say die and a never give up, and I think it's a great thing for kids. I think all kids should play sports.
Kids should all,
even if they
somehow
don't really,
be involved, right?
if they don't like it or whatever. Just go play, have fun, exercise, get some fresh air. I think so. Yeah,
they really should. Yeah, I agree with you, man. 100%.
Yeah. Sounds good. So we made it. We made it.
Yeah,
all
we
the way
made it.
through. The last one
I
wasn't as
survived
bad.
that. It's still there.
still there. It's
Still
still there,
lingering.
yeah. Okay.
But I got more of an eye thing going from the
other
previous
one.
one. Yeah,
Watery. It varies. It's a tough one. Yeah.
I think I also shook off part of that stuff, so I
true.
cheated.
That stuff is rough as well. I'll be honest. I do that all the time. So
that was great.
That's how I'm able to do it every week. Yeah. So we made it all the way through. Do you have anything you want to add to the whole conversation at the end?
Tell Jordan's dad to get in touch.
Jordan's dad. I will definitely.
Yeah, I'd love to, and I'd love to meet Jeff. Right?
Jeff,
I think you were telling me earlier, right?
Jeff's fantastic.
Jeff
guy,
loves sports, and
he does. He loves sports.
Yeah, he's been in Taiwan for a while too.
He's been here for a while. He's got 3, maybe 4 kids. I think 3 for sure.
Okay.
I believe it was Chinese New Year. He just got a bike, and he just did like the whole island. Like he's
Cool.
Yeah, I was chatting with him. He's a great guy. He's a great guy. I'll definitely hook that
I'd
up,
love
man.
to meet him and talk to his daughter too. See if we can help her. I'd love to help
That'd
her.
be great. Yeah, that'd be great.
She looks like a great kid.
She
great
is a great
attitude.
Kid. Yeah. I was pretty happy to
and
get
she's
her
a good
out.
player from what I understand.
Yeah,
right?
for sure. I think, like I said, she's got the Taiwanese kind of smoothness, but she's got like that really like powerful aggressiveness from, I guess, probably from her dad, from the American side.
Yeah.
So it's, I think, it's a mixed kid. Take advantage of what you can take advantage of. Yeah, it's good
let's
stuff.
get her into a good program.
Sounds
We work with
fantastic.
male tennis players. We haven't had a female tennis
Oh,
player
that'd
yet.
be
So
fantastic. Yeah, okay.
I'm dying to bring
Get
on a female
one in it.
tennis
Yeah,
player.
okay, perfect.
That'd be great.
Perfect. Right on, brother. I want to
Okay, man.
thank you for coming out.
Yeah, no, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, I appreciate it. It was
And,
great seeing you again.
Maybe we'll do it again sometime. It was
Yeah,
fantastic.
I'd love to
man.
do it again.
Yeah.
Okay,
Right
man.
on, brother.
Yeah.
Thank you guys all
Yeah,
for watching
thanks.
the show.
Thank you.
The link for the description for your website is in our description. And
Right.
if anybody wants to get in touch with you, just go through that website.
Yeah, go to the
right?
website. You can
Okay.
www.aca-recruit.com.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you guys for checking out the show. Thank you, Philip. Right on. See you
you.
guys next time. Bye-bye.
Hey, bye-bye.